A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry of the Circus. Jerry of the Circus.
Say, Kelly, in case something really should happen, is there anything we can do, to help the circus?
I'm afraid not, Jerry. The only thing we can do now is be sure all the cages are safe and all the animals are tied.
Gee, maybe I'd better warn Waddy. It'd be terrible if the horses got loose.
And I don't think we should get everyone excited. So far, we've no way of being sure whether my hunch is right or wrong.
Yeah, I suppose.
Besides, if a cyclone or a tornado should hit this circus, no matter how hard we try to protect the animals, it'd twist things around like straws in the wind.
Makes you feel pretty helpless.
Yeah, I'll say. Back home, during that tornado I was telling you about, a piece of straw was driven with such force it went right into a telephone pole.
Oh, listen, I'm not that dumb.
Well, it's the truth. I saw it.
But it would have been when it hit the wood. Straw's so soft.
That's just the point. It was driven with such terrific force that when it hit the wooden pole, it drove itself right into it.
Honest, Kelly, I can hardly believe it. Say, look, there's the Major.
Yeah, something must be up. You don't often see him around this time of day.
Yeah, he certainly looks excited about something.
And it don't take much to get Major Mite all stewed up. If he were a volcano, he'd be in a constant state of eruption.
Yeah, but at his size, he'd probably turn out to be a bottle of soda pop and just fit. Here he comes.
Jerry, who do you suppose I just heard from?
Well, I don't know, Major. Must be someone pretty important. You look kind of excited.
I should say I am. The most terrible thing has happened. You'll never guess. Oh, hello, Kelly.
Good morning, Major.
Oh, what is it?
It's about someone we know and know very well, I might add.
Oh, they're not in trouble, I hope. What is it, Major?
Well, I just this minute got this letter from Carmen.
Gee whiz, she's all right, isn't she?
You mean that little Spanish girl with the wire-walking act?
Yes, sir, that's the one. The trouble is, I don't know whether she's all right or not. It's awful.
What happened?
Well, that's what I can't find out.
But what did she say?
Well, she said she was working in the pictures with her brothers.
Yes, we all know that. That's why Mr. Randall let him go.
Well, she said they were doing a bicycle stunt on a wire, and suddenly one of the reflectors blinded Carlos, and they fell, bicycle and all.
Oh, go on.
Good night, Major. Go on. What happened?
Well, that's just it. I don't know.
Well, of all the silly things. There you are with the letter right in your hand, and you stand there doing nothing. Go ahead, read what happened.
Well, that's the trouble. I can't.
You can't read?
Oh, of course I can read, Kelly. Don't be stupid.
But you just said...
Oh, you see, she was so excited she wrote the rest of it in Spanish.
Why, you're kidding.
No, here, you read it.
Well, it is foreign, all right.
Of all the crazy things. I don't know when I've heard of anything so funny.
Well, there's nothing funny about it. It is terrible. Just think, anything might have happened to them, and we'll never know what.
Well, at least you know it's over with, and she's well enough to write you a letter.
Oh, well, I believe you're right, Jerry. That's funny. You know, I get so excited I never thought of that.
Besides, all you have to do is to go to someone who can read Spanish. Then you can find out all about it.
Yeah, but who speaks Spanish?
Well, why not ask Rosa to translate it for you?
Rosa? Oh, you mean Rosa Ruzzi?
Sure, the fortune teller. She speaks Spanish, I know.
Of course, she's a very clever woman. Indeed she is. That's just what I'll do. I'll go to her at once.
Hey, Major.
Yeah? What do you want, my boy?
When you find out what happened to Carmen, will you come back and tell us?
Indeed I will. I'll be right back. Well, goodbye.
Well, of all the strange people in the world, that Major Mike takes the king.
I'll say he does. But he means well.
Kelly? Hey, Kelly.
Right here. What do you want?
We're having some trouble over at the menagerie top. Judge said to tell you.
Okay, Carl. I'll be right with you. Well, this is bad. Me animals are getting obstreperous.
Gee, look, the sky's getting all kind of queer. See those funny yellow clouds piling up?
Yeah, I'll say. Looks like we're in for a twister, all right.
I sure hope it misses the circus, whatever it is.
Yeah, don't we all?
I better get rags quick. That's one thing, sure.
Yeah, and I got to get back to me charges. Well, so long, Jerry.
So long. Here's hoping everything blows over.
Yeah, blows over is right, me boy.
Now I wonder where Rags is. Rags! Hey, Rags! Wonder where the little monkey could have gone. Rags!
Hi there, Jerry. I've been looking for you.
Oh, hello, Whitey. I was headed for the horse top, but I got to get Rags as soon as I can.
Well, I won't keep you long. I just want to warn you about something.
You do? Say, that's funny. That's what I was going to do, too. Kelly says the weather's kind of funny and we might be in for a bad blow.
So Kelly thinks so, too. Well, I sure hope we're both wrong.
Yeah, he was in a tornado once, and he says it started out all quiet and funny like this.
I was afraid of that. Well, this is what I wanted to tell you, Jerry.
Yeah, Whitey?
If such a thing should happen, don't come near any of the animals.
But taking care of the horses is part of my job.
Sure, I know. But if it should be an honest-to-goodness twister, there'd be nothing in this world we could do.
Kelly said practically the same thing.
Now, listen, there's quite an embankment back of the mess tent. Did you ever notice that?
Sure, when we had breakfast this morning.
All right. If you hear of either a cyclone or a tornado coming, you make a beeline for that embankment and lie down as flat and close to the ground as you possibly can.
Gee, you really think we're in for it then, huh?
Well, I don't honestly know. A thing like this may turn out to be nothing at all, but it's just as well that you know the right thing to do in case of an emergency.
Gee, it's sure swell of you to warn me, Whitey.
Okay, Jerry. Well, come on now. Let's get over to the horse top.
Say, do you mind if I get Rags first?
No, that's all right. Run along, Jerry, and then get on back here and we'll check the horses.
Thanks, Whitey. I'll be right back.
Well, now, look what's headed this way. That's a break.
Rags! That's where you've been, with Mr. Randall.
Good morning, Whitey.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Randall.
How's tricks, Jerry?
Gee, that's funny. I've been looking and asking all over about Rags. No wonder no one's seen him. Sit down, Rags. Behave yourself.
Well, I tell you, Jerry, Rags and I have been pretty busy. Yeah, we've been making a tour of inspection.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that sounds kind of important.
Yeah, I'm afraid it is. Everything shipshape, Whitey?
Yes, sir. Don't worry about me and the horses, sir.
Oh, I don't have to, Whitey. I know that you'll do everything you can.
Say, Mr. Randall, some of the men are talking. They say the weather's bad, like it's ready for a twister or something.
Well, as a matter of fact, that's why I'm checking things over pretty carefully. The Weather Bureau has sent out reports that a tremendous wind is heading in from the northwest.
That sounds bad, Mr. Randall.
Yeah.
Gee whiz. Say, talking of wind, isn't one coming up now?
That's right. Look at those clouds. They're all stringy and yellowish.
Yeah. It looks bad.
What about the show?
Oh, well, we'll go on unless there's a real blowdown.
It's like you. Your first thought, the show must go on.
Well, that's our business, Whitey. A good show on schedule, regardless of inconvenience to ourselves.
You bet that's the ticket. Isn't it, Rand?
The one thing that would prevent us playing would be anything that might endanger the safety of the audience.
Say, what's up?
Huh?
Jason's running across the backyard.
Yeah. Hello there, Jason. Anything wrong?
I'm afraid so, Mr. Randall.
Huh?
I've been looking all over for you.
Well, nothing serious, I hope.
It looks like that Black Panther's going bad.
Oh, are you sure of this, Jason?
Well, all the cats have been jumpy this morning, and, well, of course, Streak's hard to handle at any time, but...
Kelly says his animals have been all nervy today, too.
Well, it's probably got something to do with the strange weather we're having.
Well, I don't know about that, but suddenly he just seemed to go to pieces.
Gee, we'd sure hate to miss out on watching Streak.
I should say. Yeah, it's one of the best turns in the show.
Honest, I get a chill every time he leaps through that burning hoop.
Yeah, so does the audience.
Well, Jason, you better use your own judgment today. If all the animals are on edge, it's to be expected that panther would take it harder than the rest.
I wouldn't want to ever fall down on you, Mr. Randall.
Oh, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about you, at least, but This weather business is
Sure
pretty...
is funny out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be lucky if we give a show at all today.
Oh, Jerry!
Oh, hiya, Major. We're over by the horse stand.
Folks, don't mention anything to him about a possible windstorm. There's no use having a lot of unnecessary excitement.
Yeah, he gets worked up bad enough when things are calm.
Yeah.
Oh, say, Jerry, I just found out. Oh, hello, Mr. Randall.
Hello, Major. Hello.
Say, that Rosa Roxy's one smart little fortune teller. She translated that letter from Carmen just as easy.
Oh, Carmen Bendini?
Oh, yes. She and I carry on a great correspondence.
I'll say he got a letter from her.
Hey, it's no laughing matter, I'll have you know.
I should say not. What about that accident, Major?
Accident.
Was she hurt?
The three of them were doing that bicycle stunt. and
Yeah,
when they
say,
were-
now, wait a minute. Who's telling this? Who got this letter, I'd like to know.
But quick, tell us what happened.
Well, as you know, Jerry, Carlos got blinded or something by those bright lights they use in the picture.
Yeah, and while they were in the center of the wire, they fell off. Gee whiz, Major, won't you tell us how they are?
Well, of all things, here I'm trying to.
You
and
see, Mr. Randall, she got so excited when she wrote that, well, she told him this much and then wrote the rest in Spanish.
Yeah, that's why I had to have Rosa translate it.
Well, how is she, Major? What happened?
Well, it seems that they were making a close-up of the act, so when they fell,
Yeah, well,
they only fell 2 feet.
what?
2 feet.
But they do that act at the top of the tent.
Sure, they did it that way, too, for what she calls a long shot. But for the close-up, they stretched the wire close to the ground.
Well,
I don't mind telling you, I was worried.
Well, what about me? How do you think I felt? My beautiful Carmen.
all the good jokes. She sure put it over on you that time, Major.
What? What are you talking about?
I'll say. I'm afraid she kidded you that time, Major.
Kidded me? Carmen? Certainly
Sure
not.
she did. She wrote right up to where they fell and then put the rest in Spanish on purpose.
Oh, if I thought that, I'm speechless. That's what I am.
Now, never mind, Major. We men don't mind being fooled by a beautiful woman, do we?
Well,
Of course not. It shows they like you when they bother to play a stunt like that.
Of course. That's exactly it. Oh, I forgot.
What?
Of course. The most important. Oh, it may be the worst catastrophe in the world. It's so bad. Well, even Rosa couldn't be sure what it was all about.
What in the world are you talking about, Major?
Well, while we were talking, all of a sudden Rosa let out a cry and called your name, Mr. Randall.
My name? She did?
Yes, sir. She said something terrible was going to happen. All of a sudden she saw our circus burst into 1,000,000 pieces. Yes, sir. Then she began to cry because she saw Mr. Randall going around trying to put them together again like a jigsaw puzzle. And he couldn't because lots of the pieces was lost.
Say, that's awful. What does it mean?
Sounded good, real good. A weekend at Malibu, expenses paid with a cash bonus thrown in. But that was before I knew about the henchman, the redhead, and the corpse. These three and a white Panama hat ruined it all for me.
From the pen of Raymond Chandler, outstanding author of crime fiction, comes his most famous character as CBS presents The Adventures of Philip Marlowe. And now, with Gerald Moore starred as Philip Marlowe, we bring you tonight's unusual story, The Panama Hat.
I was sitting in my office bombing the ashtray on my desk with paper clips, wondering what kind of a job a private detective gets when clients stop calling completely. I was seesawing between the picture of me as a well-starched huckster and the more comfortable portrait of Marlowe, author in English tweeds, man of distinction. And the telephone brought me to a rude awakening. Marlowe speaking.
My name is Isabel Gordon, Mr. Marlowe. I must see you at once. My husband Bruce is in terrible danger. Could you possibly meet me in an hour at the Pelican Inn? It's a small roadside place on the way to Malibu. I'll explain everything then.
Pelican Inn, 1 hour, Mrs. Gordon. The Pelican Inn was strictly a liquor license with chairs, and a bored piano player in one corner grinding away. The place was empty, and I was about to order a drink when the front door opened and a woman entered. She was tall and thin and right out of Harper's Bazaar. From double ankle-strap shoes to close-cropped hair. One look at her fear-crowded eyes, and I knew it was Isabel Gordon. I got up and introduced myself. Then we went to a table, and she started to talk.
For 2 weeks now, Mr. Marlowe, my husband Bruce has been receiving unsigned, threatening letters. I'm almost sick with worry. I don't know what to do.
Now, wait a minute, Mrs. Gordon. The first thing to do is to get hold of yourself. And tell me the whole thing right from the beginning.
Yes, all right. Well, first of all, Bruce and I have only been married a little more than a year. We're living with my uncle, Avery Fairchild, on an estate out beyond Malibu.
I see. What does your husband do for a living, Mrs. Gordon?
Why, he's a photographer.
Movie or commercial?
Well, at present, it's neither. You see, Bruce has been terribly unsettled since the war. Lost, sort of, and then recently he got interested in photography, and it's been a great help to him.
But he doesn't exactly work at it, huh?
Well, he's converted one of the rooms in the guest cottage into a studio, and he spends almost all of his time there experimenting with portrait work. But he doesn't actually have a job, if that's what you mean.
How does that appeal to your Uncle Avery?
Oh, I'll be honest with you, Mr. Marlowe. My uncle thinks the sun rises and sets on me, but with Bruce...
It's total eclipse, is that it?
I'm afraid so. All his life, Uncle Avery has been concerned only with dollars and cents. He simply doesn't understand or sympathize with an artist's viewpoint.
Uh-huh. Now, what about these unsigned letters?
Well, Bruce has been getting them for the past 2 weeks. They're always made up of words cut from newspapers and pasted on ordinary paper.
That's a cheap stunt. What do they say?
Each one threatens my husband's life. Yet both he and Uncle Avery consider them nothing more than the work of some harmless crank, in spite of the fact that for the last several days I've seen a strange man lurking around our place every night.
Can you describe him?
No, except he's about your height and build.
Is that all?
Yes. No, Wait a minute. There is something else. Each time I saw him, Mr. Marlowe, he was wearing a white Panama.
Well, that's not much to go on. Tell me, why haven't you called the police?
Uncle Avery wouldn't hear of it. He hates publicity, dreads it. That's why I suggested contacting you, a private detective.
That's sort of a bodyguard for Bruce, huh?
Yes. However, Mr. Marlowe, Bruce is somewhat temperamental, and I know he'd rebel at the thought of being watched over, so I'd rather you posed as a house guest, an old college chum of mine, perhaps.
My fee is $25 a day plus expenses, Mrs. Gordon.
Oh, any price is all right, Mr. Marlowe. Let's see, it's a little after 7 now. Can you be at our place at Malibu at 9?
I think so. But as a fellow alumnus, Isabel, one last question. Where'd you go to college?
Southern California. Why?
Well, I was afraid you might say Vassar. After Isabel left, I remembered that I was already on my expense account. So I had a tasteless, cold, hot blue plate special and a burned cup of coffee. Then I stepped out of the Pelican Inn and headed across the paved parking lot to my car. It was already dark, and I was admiring the full moon and the beautiful wash it made over the ocean when it happened.
Hey, mister!
What the?
You all right, mister?
Yeah, I think so. Thanks to your sounding off.
That nut was aiming right for you.
Yeah, looks that way. Did you happen to get his number?
No.
What about his face? Can you describe him?
No, matter of fact, I only noticed one thing.
What was that?
The hat he was wearing. It was a white Panama.
I tried to be broad-minded, but there was no other way to look at it. The gentleman in the white Panama hat definitely meant business. I returned to my apartment in Hollywood, where I shaved, showered, and packed. And then I headed for Malibu. At 8:45, I was inside the grounds of the Fairchild estate. Another mile, and I was at the front door. When I entered, Isabel greeted me like I was a keg of brandy around a St. Bernard's neck. Then we waded through an inch-thick carpet to the library where Uncle Avery, fat, bald, and looking like he'd just bitten into an underripe persimmon, was waiting. I wasn't asked to sit down, and I wasn't offered a cigar. Avery Fairchild was not one to waste time.
I'm a very rich man, Mr. Marlowe. As such, I'm the target for all kinds of fortune hunters, confidence men, and cranks. In my lifetime, I've been threatened and pestered by a score of crackpots, each one slightly more psychopathic than the last. It's never bothered me, and it never will. However, in this case, the approach is a bit different.
Meaning you think somebody's trying to get at you through your nephew, huh?
Never refer to him as my nephew. My niece's husband, if you please. And don't forget it.
Uncle Avery.
Isabel, my feelings about your husband are no secret.
You're being unfair, Uncle Avery. Just because Bruce is an artist and he...
Artist, is he? Why, Isabel, that man's no more an artist than I am a horse jockey.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello, Bruce.
Hello, darling. You were saying something, Uncle Avery?
Bruce, I want you to meet Philip Marlowe. We were great friends at school, and when I heard he was in town for a while, I insisted that he spend a weekend with us.
How do you do, Mr. Gordon?
It's a pleasure to have you with us, Mr. Marlowe. You're very welcome.
I do the welcoming around here, Bruce.
Mr. Marlowe's had a long trip, and I'm certain he'd like to turn in early. Bruce, darling, he's going to stay in the guest cottage, the room next to your studio. Will you show him there, please?
Oh, I'll be glad to. By the way, Isabella, I'm going to work late, so I'll say good night to you now.
Good night, dearest.
Good night, sweet.
Please be careful.
Yes, Bruce, by all means, be careful. Remember, the true artist belongs to posterity. Or something.
The guest cottage was only a landscaped hop, skip, and a jump from the museum that Uncle Avery called home. And as Bruce and I strolled along a flagstone path, I feigned a deep interest in photography. That was all my host needed. He struck at the bait like a shark with malnutrition.
Well, Mr. Marlowe, it didn't even occur to me that photography might be one of your hobbies. Isabel never said a word.
Well, good for Isabel. I'm strictly a dabbler. Now, tell me, Mr. Gordon, how long have you been at this?
Portrait work? Oh, about 6 months. You see, I divide my time between my studio here and a school I attend in Hollywood. That way I capture both the theory and practical experience at the same time.
Oh.
Well, here we are. Would you like to see the studio?
Yes, I would.
Here, let me get the light.
Well, this is all right, huh? Enlarger, 2 cameras, dark room. Are these your pictures?
Yes. What do you think of them?
I don't know exactly. They're certainly different, huh?
They are unusual, aren't they?
Yeah.
You see, Marlowe, each picture is actually made up of 2 separate studies which are superimposed. I call it interpretive photography.
Uh-huh. Now, this one. A splash of light and a bent pipe cleaner?
The sun and the plant shoot. It's called metamorphosis.
Oh. Well, what about that one there in the corner? The girl's face and clouds, maybe.
Mr. Marlowe, you'll excuse me, but that picture isn't ready for display yet.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pry. I thought it was just another interpretive photograph.
Well, it's not. That is, it isn't finished yet. Now, Mr. Marlowe, I'm afraid I've forgotten what my wife said about your long trip. Shall I show you to your room?
Yes, please do, Mr. Gordon. My room on the other side of the guest cottage was wider than Hollywood Boulevard. After Bruce apologized for his display of temperament and bid me a polite good night, I climbed into the silk pajamas that were laid out for me, stretched out on the bed, and tried to figure who belonged to the white Panama hat. But an hour passed, and I wasn't getting any sensible answers. So I switched out the light, put my gun on the table next to me, and snuggled into what felt like 1.5 miles of mattress. I was almost asleep, and the clatter of a shovel falling on the walk outside brought me straight up in bed. I grabbed my gun and made for the door. But the second I threw it open, I knew that I'd made a mistake. Whoever kicked over that shovel had hurt me and met me with a large fist that came straight at my face. Oh! As I came back into the world, I was embarrassed to find myself alone and flat on my back. When I started to get up, I felt like the L.A. Dons, water boy and all, had run over my face. My gun was a few feet away, and when I went to pick it up, I stopped short. It was a souvenir from the man with the great big fist. A gold cigarette lighter. It was engraved to Skipper on his birthday. Putting it in my pocket, I picked up my gun and made for Bruce's studio. He wasn't there. I threw on some clothes and went back to the house and found Isabel in the living room. I was about to give her a biased account of the shortest fight on record when I noticed Uncle Avery quietly entering the house from a side door that led to the garden.
What's the matter, Phil?
Bruce isn't in the studio anymore.
What?
Now, Isabel, there's no reason for alarm. Why, Bruce often goes off into the night like this. Calls it a search for beauty or some such rot.
And what was it you were after just now outside, Mr. Fairchild?
I was looking for my niece, Marlowe. Isabel, your cousin John telephoned to say he wouldn't be down this weekend.
Oh.
I didn't know there were to be other guests.
Oh, just my cousin, John Martin, Phil. Not really a guest. He comes down often.
Too often to suit me.
Oh, Uncle Avery, please. You know that I'm fond of him.
Yes, but I don't know why. He's a chronic gambler and of no use to anyone. Living at the Wilshire Gardens when he can't afford it. Driving expensive cars.
Oh, you're too hard on him. Skipper is...
Skipper?
Yes. Do you know him?
No. No, I don't.
Well, you're not missing anything, believe me.
Oh, I do believe you, Mr. Fairchild. I believe your every word.
What?
Good night, all. I left the house and headed straight for my car with the Wilshire Gardens in Hollywood in mind. It was just a chance that John Skipper Martin might own a white Panama hat. When I got to the prodigal cousin's bungalow, it was dark inside. So I pressed one hand close to my gun and the other against the doorbell. But there was no answer. The side window was open, and I started toward it when a nasty voice greeted me from the shadow of a palm tree.
Good evening. Lovely night, isn't it?
I hadn't noticed. I've been busy.
I know. We've been waiting for you for a long time.
We?
Uh-huh. Me and my nice shiny revolver here. 38.
Oh, I see. Well, you make a handsome couple, and I hope you're both very happy together now. What do you want?
I don't want anything. I'm here to give you something. Advice.
Look, brother, I've already told you I'm busy, so if this is a heist, let's get it over with, fast.
You know, I think you're confused. I'm holding the gun, Mr. Martin.
Martin?
John Skipper Martin. Surprised that I know your name?
Why, yes. Yes, I am. I don't recall having had the pleasure.
You haven't. People never forget me, Mr. Martin. My tag is Brock. Does that mean anything?
No, what do you do? Sing, dance, tell jokes?
Yeah, that's it. The last one. I tell jokes.
I can't wait.
You won't have to, Mr. Martin. I'm going to tell you one right now. Goes like this. Once upon a time, a young punk borrowed $10,000 from a generous gambler on his promise to pay the money back within a week. But the young punk never came across. So the gambler told a nice fellow named Brock to call on the young punk and tell him that he had 48 hours in which to get the money together. And that if he didn't, he'd never see the 49th hour. What's the matter, Mr. Martin? Don't you like jokes?
Brock grinned, shoved his 38 into a shoulder holster, and walked away. As soon as he rounded the corner, I went to the open window and climbed in. I rummaged through 2 closets looking for a white Panama you-know-what. I was about to search a third when I heard something that brought me to a dead stop. It was a key in the front door lock. I closed my right hand over the gun in my pocket, moved flush against the side wall, and waited. But the moment the door swung open, the telephone rang. And the hulk of a man that entered went straight for it. He was wearing a gray fedora.
Hello? Oh, hello, Isabel. What? Bruce? Are you sure? But that's impossible. I mean, things like that just don't... Excuse me, Isabel. I think I have a visitor. I'll call you back.
Reach, Mr. Martin.
Who are you?
The name is Brock. You owe a client of mine $10,000. He wants his money in 48 hours.
I'll get it. I swear I will. I'll have it right here, on time, all of it.
How are you going to do that, Mr. Martin?
I've got a way. Someone's going to give it to me tonight.
Why?
Why? Oh, because it's the healthy thing to do. That's why. That's all you wanted to know, isn't it?
That's all. Good night, Mr. Martin.
Hello?
This is Marlowe, Isabel. I'm calling from a drugstore in Hollywood. Has Bruce returned yet?
No, and he won't. He's been kidnapped.
What's that?
And whoever did it wants $50,000 before morning, or we'll never see Bruce alive again.
As I walked to my car opposite the Wilshire Gardens, I felt like my brain had spent the night in a cement mixer. I was about to head back for Malibu when I suddenly saw Skipper Martin dash out of his bungalow and pile into a long, glossy convertible. I followed him out to the Pacific Palisades, where he made a call at a little house which sat on a bluff overlooking the sea. Once he was inside, I moved up quietly and saw that the name on the mailbox was Miss Carla Winters. I crawled up to a lace-curtain window where I could see what was going on. One look at Miss Winters made the damage I was doing to my tweeds worthwhile. She was strictly Dragon Lady, with flaming red hair and a waist you could span with two hands, if you were lucky enough to get that close. And the rest of the measurements fit just perfect.
Why, you sniveling coward, you wouldn't dare open your mouth about us.
Wouldn't I? Listen, Carla, I've got myself, Skipper Martin, to look after. First, last, and always. You remember that.
Why should I? You've always been cheap talk and no more. Look at you now. You're in trouble, so what do? You holler blackmail. Go on, get out of here. Get out of here before I kill you.
When Skipper slammed the front door, stomped to his car, and roared off, I couldn't figure any reason, legitimate reason, that is, for calling on Carla Winters. So I returned to the Fairchild place. Isabel was somewhere between hysteria and collapse over the fact that she and Bruce had less than $2,000 in their own name. Uncle Avery, of course, was more than reluctant to pay the ransom demanded for the return of a man he'd rather not have returned. But his niece won out.
All right, Isabel, I'll give you the money. But understand, I'm doing this for you, not for that no-good...
Yes, Uncle Avery, I understand, but can you get that much cash at this hour? The banks
Who said anything about banks? You know I don't like them. Money will be in your hands in 30 minutes. In the meantime, tell Mr. Marlowe here what arrangements you've made with your husband's abductors.
1 minute, Mr. Fairchild. What about the police?
The police have already been notified, Mr. Marlowe. They've agreed not to interfere until tomorrow morning. By that time, I suppose we'll have Bruce returned to us.
To us, Uncle Avery?
As a mere slip of the tongue, Isabel. I'm only paying for his return. You take over from there. I don't want him.
A half hour later, Avery Fairchild handed me a bundle of bills which added up to $50,000 cash. The bills seemed slightly dirty. The old geezer must have had them buried someplace. For a moment, I couldn't help thinking, boy, to get at this place with a shovel sometime. But then I got back to the more pressing matters at hand. I wrapped up the money in a shoebox, and I drove north along the Pacific Coast Highway. I covered the 60 miles to the rendezvous, which was a junkyard near Ventura, in about as many minutes. Then, according to instructions, I slowed down to 10 miles an hour. I blinked my lights twice, tossed out the shoebox. I was just about to resume my speed when the headlights of an approaching car fell on a man as he darted back into the junkyard. And I saw what I'd been expecting all the time. The white Panama Hat. But I was still playing by the rules. So there was only one thing I could do about it. I slammed my foot down on the accelerator and kept it there until I reached the nearest telephone, where I telephoned Skipper Martin at the Wilshire Gardens. It was just possible that he owned two hats. But that little balloon exploded in a hurry.
Hello?
Mr. Martin?
Yes. Who is this?
This is Brock, remember me?
Oh, yes, of course. I've been hoping you'd call.
You mean you got the money right now?
Well, no, not this minute, but I will have it in a couple of hours.
You're sure, Mr. Martin?
I'm positive, Brock.
Now only one thing figured. The man in the Panama hat worked for Skipper Martin. It had to be. An hour later, I pulled in at the Fairchild estate. And the moment I put my AA over the threshold, I knew that the kidnapper, too, had kept his part of the bargain. Bruce Gordon was back, safe and sound.
It happened shortly after you retired, Mr. Marlowe. I was working in my studio when a man wearing a
white Panama hat.
Yes. But how did you know that, Mr. Marlowe?
They're very popular this season, Mr. Gordon.
Darling, Mr. Marlowe was a private detective.
Huh?
But I'll tell you all about that later. Go on with your story.
Well, this man was wearing a handkerchief over his face, and he forced me to go along with him at gunpoint. Took me to a car parked in the service driveway and told me to turn around. And I was hit from behind and went out cold.
Oh, darling, how terrible.
It wasn't pleasant. When I came to, I was bound hand and foot, blindfolded, and gagged. I had no idea where I was.
Oh, but didn't you see anybody before you were released?
No, Uncle Avery. Before they let me go, they hit me again. When I came to that time, I was lying on the road out near Ventura, untied. That's about it.
I suppose you've told the story to the police already, huh?
No, he hasn't, Mr. Marlowe, and what's more, he isn't going to. I'm sorry, but I was forced to lie to you earlier this evening. The police mean reporters, and they mean publicity. And I hate publicity. I'm sure you see my point.
I wouldn't make book on that, Mr. Fairchild. Secrets like this only encourage kidnappers.
Well, since we no longer see eye to eye, Mr. Marlowe, I'd suggest that we consider your services at an end. I'll have my check at your office in the morning. Good night, sir.
Avery Fairchild wasn't the kind of a man you argued with. I threw my coat over my arm, tipped my hat to Isabel, and stepped outside. I hadn't once mentioned Skipper Martin to the family. That might have been a mistake, but I still wanted to look around before I yelled copper. As I walked past the guest cottage, I decided to go in and check Bruce's studio. Maybe the man in the white PH had left a few odd footprints on the ceiling. I tossed my coat in a corner chair and started through the clutter. 10 minutes later, I'd found nothing. I was about to leave when I suddenly remembered the picture of a girl and some clouds that Bruce had been so careful to keep out of sight. It hadn't been moved. And when I brought it into the light, I didn't have to look twice. It was the portrait of Carla Winters, the red-headed dragon lady that Skipper Martin had visited. Now things began to add up. At the chauffeur's quarters, there was an outside telephone, and I put through a hurry call to Lieutenant Ibarra at Homicide in L.A. The best I could get was one Sergeant Neely.
I'm sorry, Mr. Marlowe, but the lieutenant's out on a call right now. There's some kind of a row uptown.
Well, do you know where he is? The address, I mean.
Oh, yeah, sure. It's one of those bungalows at the Wilshire Gardens.
The Wilshire Gardens?
That's right. What's so special about that?
Maybe nothing. I'll know in a minute. Thanks, Neely. This is Marlowe, Ibarra. What brings you to Skipper Martin's at this late hour?
Well, it seems as though some person or persons unknown fired a gun several times a little more than an hour ago. 4 shots, to be exact.
Well, you think Skipper Martin fired them?
No, Marlowe, I'm sure Martin didn't fire them. You see, he stopped them, personally.
Before I hung up, I gave Ibarra a quick rundown on the whole story. After making me feel like a schoolboy for keeping him in the dark so long, he told me to sit on the Fairchild's front steps until he got there. Well, it gave me a half hour to kill, most of which I spent walking around aimlessly, trying to get something close to 4 out of 2 and 2. But I couldn't. Finally, I heard Ibarra siren up to the front door. I was about to head for him when the chill in the morning air reminded me that my topcoat was still in Bruce's studio. I went back and got it. When I turned for the door again, I noticed a little slip of paper that had been under the coat fall to the floor. I picked it up. I must have held it for a full minute before I realized what it meant. Just a small slip of paper, and yet it made everything, the kidnapping, Carla, the murder, fall right into place. When I entered the living room at the house, one glance at Isabel and Bruce told me that she'd already knew about Skipper's death. Only Uncle Avery, who was not one to shed crocodile tears, hadn't changed. Ibarra, of course, was unhappy.
Marlowe, we can't run any kind of a police department when every private detective acts like he's the commissioner himself. Why didn't you call me when this business first began to smell? You know better.
I'm sorry, Ibarra, and I hate to sound immodest, but I happen to be one of the 2 men in this room who can name Bruce Gordon's kidnapper and Skipper Martin's killer.
You know what you're saying, Marlowe?
I think so. The man in the white Panama hat who kidnapped Bruce Gordon, Lieutenant, is Bruce Gordon himself. In other words, Bruce Gordon kidnapped Bruce Gordon.
No.
What? You're out of your mind, Marlowe.
Am I? Would you still say that, Gordon, if we paid a call to Carla Winters and asked her to hand over the $50,000 of so-called ransom money she's holding for you, too? Or would you prefer...
Stop, Gordon, stop
the window, Ibarra!
Then, in other words, Marlowe, Bruce, who eventually planned to divorce Isabel and marry Carla Winters, wanted to have a little stake, like $50,000 around first.
That's right, Ibarra. But Skipper Martin knew about Bruce and Carla's plans to marry later, and he tried to blackmail them to pay off his gambling debts. That's why he came to Bruce's cottage on the sly. However, he got there just in time to see Bruce leave of his own free will, and therefore knew later that he couldn't have been kidnapped.
Which gave him 2 holes over Bruce.
That's right. But he made a mistake when he went to Carla's house and got too demanding, because she told Bruce about it, and before he released himself, he took care of Skipper, with 4 gunshots to be exact. Charming people, aren't they, Ibarra?
Lovely. Sometimes I think I should shoot higher and save the state a lot of money. And he almost got away with it. By the way, Marlowe, how do you know?
That Bruce was the man in the white Panama hat? I was pretty certain, but I got my proof accidentally. Promise not to repeat this, Ibarra?
Yeah?
Well, I practically fell over a little slip of paper in his studio. It was a receipt from a department store, and it was made out to Bruce Gordon.
For 1 Panama hat?
Uh-huh. Nothing else but. When I finally got back to my place on Franklin Avenue, the sun was already up. And the people who work at nice, sane jobs were beginning to fill the streets. I'd been on the go for a steady 24 hours, so I could think of nothing but my bed. I was about to put my key in the lock when a next-door neighbor walked by, bid me a cheery good morning, and started down the corridor. Now, that alone wouldn't have disturbed my sleep, but why did he have to be wearing a white Panama hat?
The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, created by Raymond Chandler, stars Gerald Moore and is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald. Featured in tonight's story were Jacqueline DeWitt as Isabel Gordon, Wilms Herbert as Uncle Avery Fairchild, Bill Lally as Bruce Gordon, Shep Menken as Skipper Martin, and Lou Krugman as Brock. Detective Lieutenant Ibarra is played by Jeff Corey. The special music was conceived and conducted by Richard O'Runt. Be sure to be with us again next week at this same time when Philip Marlowe says...
When her will was read, everybody figured she'd been crazy when she wrote it, and that included me. But I changed my mind after spending the night on an island with a pig, a cat, and an ape. Because in reality, they were people.
Tonight, Amos and Andy return to the CBS network. And along with all their friends, Kingfish, Lightnin, and Henry Van Porter, they're settling down for a permanent stay. Be listening for them later this evening over most of these same CBS stations. This is Roy Rowan speaking for CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Cola, P-E-P-S-I. That's your smartest cola buy. Pepsi-Cola presents Counterspy.
Washington calling David Harding, Counterspy. Washington calling David Harding, Counterspy.
Harding, Counterspy. Calling Washington.
United States Counterspies, especially appointed to investigate and combat the enemies of our country, both at home and abroad.
Tonight, the case of a poison peddler. A Counterspy report to the American people, brought to you each Tuesday and Thursday by Pepsi-Cola.
Pepsi-Cola, it's a bottle, 2 full glasses, that's a lot.
That's right, you heard what they said. 2 full glasses of sparkling Pepsi from one big 12-ounce bottle. you're getting an extra glassful. And what a delicious glassful. The most refreshing, delightful cola that ever tickled your taste. You can't top Pepsi's tangy flavor. And that big, big bottle saves you money, goes twice as far. Pepsi's America's big, big favorite. And America's biggest cola value. So why take less when Pepsi's best? Whenever you reach for refreshment, remember,
Why take less when Pepsi's best?
And now, to Counterspy. Now, let's be absurd. For just 1 minute. You know, and I know, it would be impossible, actually, to take a microphone right into the New York underworld and interview who's who. But if we could, there's one character we certainly wouldn't want to miss. Bugs Gonier. Bugs, come here a minute.
Sure. That's my nickname, Bugs. And don't think I ain't known. Chicago, St. Louis, Elmira. That's a good pen, Elmira.
Been in stir much, Bugs?
So-so, huh?
A strange laugh you have.
Lay off the criticism. When I was with the Hogan gang, I was took for a ride. My throat cut. Left for dead. Done something to my larynx and give me a funny laugh. I'm sensitive about it.
How'd you get so powerful, Bugs?
Mostly brains. A little double-cross here, a little double-cross there. Maybe having a guy being took for a ride. I got the biggest racket now in the country. Hey, Lily Bell.
Yeah?
Come here. She's ex-Follies.
I was as good as the Follies ever had. I was the toast of Broadway.
You're about 38?
26.
Is your card? I taught her everything she knows. This guy, Diamond, he works for me, too. Hey, Diamond, who's the big shot?
You are, Bug.
Tell him what I learned you.
We've organized the Young Defenders Club. The idea is race hates it. Kids join the Young Defenders, and we sell them uniforms and thousands of badges for $5 each. We make $4 a badge. I make speeches at the meetings, get them excited against other races, so they'll smash store windows, throw rocks, and so forth.
I'll tell them how I use you, Lily.
Well, I go to stores run by the races we work up hate against and sell them protection from the kids.
Nobody but Bugs Gonier could have sunk up a double racket like that. That's big money in selling hate.
You'll have to pardon me now, you three. I got to return to the broadcasting studio. But I, too, hate you three and the things you stand for. Now, after that make-believe, we're back in the radio studio, ready to start our Counterspy case for tonight. It starts 3 weeks ago in the overly furnished, expensive apartment of Bugs Gonier in New York. Bugs was talking to his henchman, Diamond. Lily Bell was discordantly playing the piano.
Lily Bell plays the piano like I play marbles. Good joke, huh?
Bug, tonight I'm going to begin speaking to the Young Defenders on Long Island. We should get 500 new members. That's $5,000.
Hey, Leo, lay off the piano.
Oh, I got you interested in the Follies. When I heard you...
Come here. Next week, the kids out on Long Island will be all worked up, smashing windows.
Lily Bell, you work Long Island next week, too. If Diamond can bring in $5,000 for dues, you should get $5,000 for selling protection to the stores. And the phone is for me. I'll get it.
Simon.
Keep still.
We've got to tell Bugs sooner or later.
Not now.
But if Bugs finds out...
Curtains for both of us. Give me a week on Long Island, and I'll bring him back a bag of dough. You'll feel good. Then maybe we'll tell him the big secret. Next corner, Billy. Which side, Bud? The left. the matter, Billy? You scared? Hey, no. I just want to make sure nobody's around. Get the paint. Come on, Billy. We ain't got all night. Maybe we shouldn't paint a store, Spud. You are scared. Suppose the cops... Look, Billy. We joined the Young Defenders to show guys like Old Man Green we don't want them in this part of town, right? Yeah, I guess so. Well, then come on. We'll smear his whole store window with paint. And then we'll pour the rest of it in the doorway. We'll show this old uncle he can't mess around with the Young Defenders. Then let's start painting quick. Yeah. Now, give me the small brush. I'm going to make a picture of it. Here you are. Boy, stop painting my store. It's Old Man Green. I've got you. Yes, please, don't. Big heroes. You come in the night and spoil an old man's store. Shove him, Billy. He hit his head. Come on, Billy. Help me, Bud. He's holding on to me. Come on, Billy. We gotta get out of here. Listen, boy. Wait, let go of my jacket, Mr. Green. Come on, Billy. Let go of my jacket. Let go. Let go.
Stop in the name of the law.
Just me, Pop.
Oh, Billy. Well, it's about time you got home.
Didn't know it was so late, Pop.
I was just going to turn out the lights, and then you... What's happened to your jacket?
My jacket? Oh, I caught the pocket on the handle of a guy's car. I ripped it. Don't worry, Pop. I'll sew it.
Even your mother, when she was alive, couldn't have sewed up a rip in your coat that bad. Visitors? This late?
Don't answer it, Pop.
Don't answer it?
No, Pop, please.
Well, they knock down the door if I don't.
Don't open that door. Don't.
Yes, who? Policeman. Sorry, Mr. Roy. I've got to come in. What's the idea of walking in here with a gun? That your boy? Yes? Come here, boy. Come here. Oh, now look, what's happened? What's he done? Torn jacket. Now, bet this piece of cloth will fit that torn jacket. Look, my boy is a good boy. Now, why do you do this?
Ah, please.
What's he done? Killed a man. Killed a man? My boy killed a man?
Washington, D.C. Complying with your request to local police officials that information pertaining to Young Defenders of America be forwarded to you, 2 members of that organization have just been arrested in New York for manslaughter.
This is Harding speaking. This Young Defenders organization, which is spreading racial hatred, is top priority. Mr. Peters and I will arrive in New York in 3 hours. This is Billy Clinton. Billy? Sit down.
Yes.
This is Billy's father, Mr. Clinton. I'm terribly sorry about all this, Mr. Clinton.
My boy killed a man.
I'll be outside if you want me, Mr. Harding. Well, Billy, you're in quite a mess.
I know it, sir.
How'd you get mixed up with these Young Defenders?
Well, all the guys were joining it. Just seemed like the thing to do, to defend something.
I see. You read the newspaper which is published for the Young Defenders?
Yes, sir.
Agree with it?
Well, I didn't think too much about it, sir. I just read it.
Did you ever hear a man named Vincent Diamond speak?
Yes, he's the national leader.
I know.
He speaks to all our branches and members.
Tell me, Billy, didn't it ever occur to you to question this bigotry, this hate of minorities and races that he was preaching?
I don't know, Mr. Hardy. You get so excited, you just join in.
I see. Pardon me. Yes?
Chief, the first report that Mr. Green died is not correct. He responded to treatment on the way to the hospital. Green has been in the operating room 4 hours. A delicate brain operation. There's a chance he might live.
Oh, I hope so. This gives me an idea, Peter. Keep that information secret.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk to Mr. Clinton. Billy, I want you to leave us for a few minutes.
Yes, sir. Can I kiss my father first?
Certainly.
I'm sorry, Pop.
Go out now, Billy, like Mr. Harding said.
Mr. Clinton, these boys committed this crime themselves, but the poison propaganda peddled by Diamond stirred them up. However, that isn't going to convict him.
But why should the counterspies be called in on a thing like this, Mr. Harding?
Mr. Clinton, we keep an open file on all crackpot and subversive organizations. You see, these hate organizations break down into two types. The ones led by mentally upset neurotics or crackpots, and the ones that are just crooked rackets.
What class are the young defenders in?
Indications are it's a crooked racket. And I want you to help us break it.
It's too late now to save my boy.
It's never too late to try anything, Mr. Clinton. Besides, there are other dads and other boys.
Now, all right, Mr. Harding. I'll do anything.
Back to Counterspy in a moment.
Pepsi-Cola, kiss and pop, 2 full glasses, that's a lot. Lot more value, lot more zest. Why take less when Pepsi's best?
More and more, among fellows and girls, among mothers and dads, you hear that sane and sensible question, why take less when Pepsi's best? No budget, no allowance ever had a better friend than tangy, sparkling Pepsi-Cola. Because one big 12-ounce Pepsi bottle gives you 2 delicious drinks. That's twice as much tangy taste, twice as much delicious Pepsi to go just twice as far. That's why more and more families say, why take less when Pepsi's best? Yes, families like yours and mine. Families all over America. They're all saying, why take less when Pepsi's best?
Pepsi-Cola so delicious and each bottle makes 2 drinks. It is certainly the cola for the purchaser who thinks everybody's drinking Pepsi. Just compare it with the rest. So much more and so much finer. Why take less when Pepsi's best?
Today, tomorrow, always. Get America's biggest cola value. Take home a carton of 6 big Pepsi bottles. Insist on Pepsi at the store. And say Pepsi at the fountain. Say Pepsi at the stand. Say Pepsi. Whenever you reach for refreshment, remember,
why take less when Pepsi's best?
Now back to Counterspy and the office of the young defenders.
Is this the office of the young defenders?
Ever hear of knocking before you come in?
You heard my question.
Listen, you windbag. When I was in the chorus, no man ever...
Is this the office of the young defenders?
Yes.
Where's this diamond man who goes around making the speeches?
None of your business.
It is my business. You know who I am?
Must I?
I'm Mr. Clinton, the father of Billy Clinton, ever arrested for killing that storekeeper.
Oh.
Now I want to see that man Diamond.
If he isn't here.
Where does that door lead?
It's just to another office.
I'll take a look.
I told you, Mr. Diamond isn't here.
Oh, well, Diamond's been going around talking to the boys at these young defenders meetings. He's in this just as deep as my son.
But Mr. Diamond wasn't with you, son.
Well, he aroused Billy, so he did it. And I want to see him. I demand to see him.
Who demands to see who?
Who are you?
I'm acquaintance with Mr. Diamond. I'll keep your shirt on, Todd.
I don't like that laugh.
I didn't ask you if you did. Now get out and go away.
I'm not going anywhere till I see that man Diamond.
This is Billy Clinton's father. Billy was the boy who was painting in Mr. Green's store and killed the old man.
Yeah.
He's been banging all around the office.
And I demand to see Diamond, or there's going to be plenty of trouble. Now, we've all got to protect each other. Huh? The same kind of undesirables Diamond is preaching about. They're going to persecute my boy in court.
Wait a minute. I'm getting this wrong. What do you want?
I want some money to hire defense in court for my boy. I'm a poor man. I haven't got any money for his defense. No, he's a member of the Young Defenders. The organization should defend him.
Hey, you're right. Yes, sure. The Young Defenders will defend your boy.
But we can't defend him if he's...
Quiet, Lola. We'll hire the best lawyers money can buy, Mr. Clinton. The Young Defenders will not allow your boy to be crucified.
Oh, well, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sure. You come back to the office in a week, you'll see.
Oh, well, that's wonderful now. Wonderful. We'll all hang together.
Yeah, let's not use that word. We'll stick together. Right out that way, Mr. Clinton.
Yeah. We've got to defend my boy.
Well, see you soon, yeah? Goodbye.
Bugs, I ain't very bright.
Don't you get it, stupid? A defense fund. We'll raise money from every sucker on Diamond's list. We'll scream the kid's being persecuted because he's a young defender. We must rally to his defense.
Oh.
Who'd ever think of that but me, Bugs Gonia? You think if Diamond was in town, he'd think of it? We'll raise the dough by letter.
Diamond will be awful sore taking over his end of the racket.
Yeah. It's a good time to show Diamond who's got the brains. We'll collect $100,000 by next week.
The Young Defenders Organization has sent out about 200,000 letters, Mr. Harding.
Asking for money to defend Billy Clinton.
Yes. Oh, and Mr. Green is better.
Good. But don't let that news get out.
Right.
Peters, who does this Diamond live with?
He has a room by himself. But some way he's hooked up with a gangster called Bugs Gonia.
Anything on, Bugs?
A long past record, but no reason to pick him up now. There's also an ex-Follies girl mixed up somehow.
We'll do some more checking on them. And just as soon as the money starts coming in for that defense fund, we'll have some legal reason for moving in on Diamond.
Hey, that big fool. Bugs didn't have any right to mix in on my end of the racket while I was gone, Lily.
Take it easy, Diamond. He's right in the next room. He'll hear you.
I have a good mind to tell him about us anyhow.
Oh, cut it out, Diamond.
Come on, I'm going in to see him.
Promise me you won't tell him the secret. You're too upset right now.
Okay, come on.
How I hate that man.
Pay your back, Diamond. What's the sauce? You lemon?
Cut that phony laugh.
I don't like that, Diamond.
Well, I don't like you messing with my end of the racket.
Listen to him, Lily. Sore, because in 1 week I rig it up to make more than he's made in 3 months.
Everything I've done has been inside the law. They couldn't touch us.
So what?
The law could get us now.
So what?
For fraudulent use of the mail. We can get a couple of years in the pen through your stupidity.
Yourself, Diamond.
Wait, Diamond didn't mean it.
Oh, yes, I did.
Stop it, both of you.
Well, forget it. Go on back to your room, Diamond. You go get dressed, Lily. You and me are stepping out tonight.
Wait a minute, Bugs.
Diamond, you promised.
He promised what? What did he promise?
How much will you sell me the Young Defenders for, Bugs?
I'm selling nothing.
Stop laughing that way.
Don't give me all.
Why, you...
Get that bookends, Lily. The bookends. Well, you try to hit me, Lily.
Oh, no, Bugs.
You try to hit me on the head. You missed and hit Diamond.
No, I didn't, honest. You two were moving so fast.
If I thought you did.
Why would I want to hit you?
Look at me.
Don't, Bugs.
Look at me right in the eye. Huh? Okay.
Oh, Diamond. He's dead.
Sure he is. You really hit him.
Oh, what are we going to do? It's murder.
If you hadn't have done it, I would.
Oh.
Now we just got to get him out of here.
How?
All right. It's dark. Car's in front. We'll pretend he's had too much to drink. We'll walk him out between us.
Oh, I'm scared, Bugs. Awful scared.
Hey, I got me another big idea.
Another like this, I suppose.
We leave him alone in the woods. In a couple of weeks, he's found. And who killed him? The young desirables that the young defenders have been working against. It'll get us a lot of new members. Come on, we got to get rid of him.
Yes, Mr. Harding. We're checking the money that's coming in on that defense fund.
How much?
About $3,000 a day.
Then we're going into action. Come into my office.
Yes, sir. I've reviewed the court order, Mr. Harding, giving us permission to check on the money being sent into the young defenders by mail.
What a vicious racket, Peters.
I haven't been able to dig up anything more on that Bugs Gonia that Diamond is some way connected with.
Peters, before we take Diamond, let's go up and pay Bugs a little social call. I've checked, and the girl is there with him now. Cut it out, Lily. I'm sick of this. I said cut it out.
And I'm sick of sitting around here doing nothing. Going crazy.
Maybe you miss Diamond.
Maybe I do.
Maybe you're sore. I won't let you go no place.
I'm suffocating to death. You sitting there, looking at me.
And maybe hating you.
You do hate me, don't you?
I hate everybody.
And you hate yourself. It's all over your face. And stop that freak laugh.
Shut up. One word to the cops and you'd get the chair.
I'm sick and fed up with it all. This last racket is a rottenness yet. Who?
Answer the door. This Bugs Gonia's apartment.
Who wants to know?
What's the idea coming here this time of night? I think we'll walk in.
You got your nerve.
I'm Harding of the United States Counterspies. This is Mr. Peters, my assistant. You Bugs Gonia?
Sure. Have a seat. Two of you have 2 seats.
Where's Diamond?
I don't know. Maybe he's gone on a honeymoon.
Bugs.
Huh?
Nothing.
Does Diamond work for you?
Nah. We're just passing acquaintances.
What do you know about this hate racket, Bugs? Stirring up racial hatred among ignorant people.
Diamond does that?
You're Lily Bell, aren't you?
Yeah.
That was the name in the follies.
You know Diamond pretty well?
No, not very well. I know him by sight.
Come from Wisconsin, don't you?
Yeah.
Falls Junction, Wisconsin?
Yeah.
You recently got a copy of your birth certificate, didn't you? Where is it now?
I don't know.
Did you want to show it to someone at the little town of Wellington over in Jersey?
Stop it. Stop it.
Well, I stopped. Shall I go on?
What's the idea of all this?
Your birth certificate wouldn't still be at the Marriage Bureau in New Jersey, would it, Lily?
I don't know.
Where is your husband, Lily?
Oh, what's the use? I'll tell everything.
Lily.
I did marry Diamond. He's dead. He was killed in a fight right here in this apartment.
Stop here, Peter. Easy,
I tried to hit Buttons over the head, and I hit Diamond by mistake.
I had nothing to do with it. You know all about this hate racket, Lily.
Yes, every bit of it. I was in on it, too. I'll tell you everything. Everything.
All right, Peter. Get the cops on Bugs Gonier. Murder and accomplice to murder. And a whole list of federal offenses. Inciting race prejudice and hatred. The crime of intolerance is the worst of all. We'll do everything in our power to help wipe it out.
When your friends drop in, be generous, but be thrifty, too. Serve plenty of delicious Pepsi-Cola. Pepsi's big 12-ounce bottle gives you not just one sparkling glass full, but two. Get a carton of 6 and serve 12 delicious drinks. Yes, Pepsi is America's biggest cola value. You get twice the tangy taste, twice the refreshment, twice the Pepsi. So why take less when Pepsi's best? Whenever you reach for refreshment, remember,
Pepsi-Cola, hit the spot. 2 full glasses, that's a lot. Lots more value, lots more zest. Why take less when Pepsi's best?
now here again is David Harding.
It so happens that tonight's case is very timely. This is Brotherhood Week, so let's all spread the word. Don't listen to or spread gossip about any group of people. Instead, stand up and talk against that kind of talk when you hear it. Not only this week, but all year round. That's being a real American.
Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday, same time, same station, to Counterspy. Listen next Tuesday for the exciting Counterspy case of the School for Spies.
The beauty parlor cover-up for a sinister operation. The bad penny, Black Egypt, who turned up at the wrong time. And the murdered passenger standing at the rail of the Staten Island ferry. The case of the School for Spies shows how an innocent word can be fitted like a piece of a jigsaw puzzle into a larger picture which means trouble to our nation. The exciting way your counterspies get on the trail of a menacing spy syndicate who prey on Uncle Sam's Boys in Blue will be exposed next Tuesday. Be sure to listen to the
Case of the School for Spies on Counterspy. Tonight's Counterspy program originated in New York. It was directed by William M. Sweets and featured Don McLaughlin and Mandel Kramer with music by Jesse Crawford. Counterspy is a Phillips H. Lord production for Pepsi-Cola. Enjoy some Pepsi, ice cold tonight.
Crime does not pay. Where are we going, Dasher?
Going? We're not going. We're there.
Yeah, you heard him, Georgie. We're there.
This garage?
Sure, let's roll in the garage. Just the place for a nice friendly game. Come on up the ramp, Georgie.
I don't feel like playing, Dasher.
Sure you do. You said so.
Yeah, but I just remembered I don't have no dough on me.
You won't need any dough, Georgie.
No dough for this game, Georgie.
Harry.
What's going on?
Get up that ramp, Georgie.
We got a new game, Georgie. It's called Stick the Pigeon.
In the interest of good citizenship and law enforcement, we present Crime Does Not Pay, based on the famous Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer series of short subjects. In just a moment, you will hear Dead Pigeon, starring Myron McCormick. Crime Does Not Pay, starring Myron McCormick as Louis the Dasher Monroe in Dead Pigeon. They breed in the slums of the big cities and in the slums of the rural countryside, those parched earth, sagging roof slums of the farmlands. They want what others have, and when the proper means does not exist, they take what they want, making jungles of their minds and living according to the jungle's law of kill or be killed. They give each other nicknames for color. Louis the Dasher because of his velvet-colored topcoat and pomaded hair. Ohio Ollie because of the tune he whistled. Jack the Kid for obvious reasons. But Harry Roper had no nickname. His last name was enough. Harry was an expert with a 4-foot piece of clothesline. They met, these four, as the general staff under the Dasher's command to consider a matter of security.
Cut it, Ollie. This is business.
Oh, meeting called order. You heard the Dasher.
Go ahead, Dasher. Make with the talk.
It's a cinch. George has got to go.
George? That punk, what did he ever do?
One word. Pigeon.
George? A stoolie?
You heard me.
It don't seem possible.
Pipe down. Listen to the kid.
I'm walking down East Main, see? Minding my own business. That's different for a change.
Cut it, Ollie.
Okay. So you was walking down East Main. Yeah. About a block up the line, I see George. You know that crazy walk of his, the way one shoulder, the left one, is always lower than the other? It's always easy to tell him that far away. Get on with it. Anyways, all of a sudden, up comes a proud car alongside George. The door opens, in jumps George, like he was used to it all his life. Just in with the cops. But an hour later, I'm in the drugstore across from the station house. Out comes George and walks away. That don't prove nothing. Maybe they had a piece on him from the prowl car.
That was the day they picked up Stan right out of his hideaway. Nobody knew where he was, except us and George.
What else?
The day before they broke up the game back at Marty's Laundry, George was down at the DA's office. 2 days before they shot it out with Johnny Sugar, I saw him make a pinch on George. A rap that didn't stick more than 3 hours.
That's enough.
Me too. When do we give it to him, Dasher?
Tonight, if we can find him.
We'll find him.
Want me to look? George likes me.
We'll all look. 2 by 2.
What's the pitch?
You'll stay with me. We'll make the candy store at Seneca and Newcastle our headquarters. Harry, you take Ollie. Work out of the all-night beanery over at Lincoln and Park. That's near the garage where the kids stashed that hot car. We'll check by phone from the pay stations. Whoever finds George talks him into a small game in the garage. No shooting, understand? I want Georgie to know why and how he's getting it.
Any calls, Ollie?
Nothing. This is my 3rd cup of coffee and nothing. How much coffee do you think I can drink?
Never mind that. George will be around sometime tonight. If we miss him, we'll hear from Dasher.
We ain't gonna miss him.
You got something there, pal?
How much longer are we gonna walk, Dasher?
Till we find him.
Why'd we use the car? My feet are killing me.
George wouldn't get in a car. Anyhow, wear shoes the right size. The dames don't care if you got big feet.
You suppose Harry and Ollie found him?
If they did, Pop's got a message over at the store.
Yeah, this kind of thing always spoils a party for me.
Think how the party's going to be spoiled for Georgie.
I never noticed before. The street's awful quiet this time of night.
Oh, morning. That's why I said no guns.
I get it.
So, George. Take a look at this. It's over here under the lamppost.
What is it?
A note. Read it.
Meet me in my office Wednesday, 10 a.m. Tom Edwards. Hey, that's the DA.
Let's walk. I figure we'll plant that note on George. When the cops find him, they'll find a note. Newspaper boys will get it and print it.
And everybody will know George was a stoolie. They'll print it on us.
Don't worry, kid. First, Edwards is DA in the next county. He couldn't be interested in us. 2, I want everybody to know. The other pigeons will know, too. I think the warning will take.
Dasher, you're a genius.
Smart enough, anyway.
Dasher, up ahead. Close to the buildings. Other side of the street.
It's dark in there. Wait till he gets near the lamppost. It's Georgie. I know they'd walk any place. Come on, kid.
Right.
Hi, Georgie. What's your hurry?
Oh, hiya, Dasher.
Going any place special?
No place special.
Interested in a little game, maybe?
Maybe? What's cooking?
Blackjack.
Oh, I'm lucky at blackjack. Where?
Central Garage. We made a deal with the Grease Monkeys. What do you say we go over and take a hand?
Sure. Why not?
Let's walk. Why are you so lucky at blackjack, George?
Any combination of 7 is my lucky number.
I get it. Think you ought to play tonight?
Why not?
Today's the 11th.
Oh, the date don't mean nothing.
Just the cards?
And the dice.
There's Pop's corner.
Lights are still on around here.
Night Owl show at the movie. Wouldn't pay for Pop to keep open otherwise.
He'd pay Pop to stay open only for us.
Any other neighborhood would attract too many nosy cops. Wait for me. I'll only be a minute.
Yeah, sure.
I will be here. Now, like I was saying, kid, any combination...
Any messages, Pop?
No, nothing from nobody.
How's business?
Any business? How can it?
Anybody in the back room? I want to use the phone.
Nobody in back, nobody in front either. If it gets no better, I'll give it up entirely.
Hey?
Right.
We got him.
Check.
15 minutes.
And double check.
That was quick.
And to the point. Pop.
Yeah?
Anybody wants to know, the kid and I have been in and out of here all evening.
That's the truth.
See you, Pop. Good luck with the soda.
We almost there, Dasher?
Almost. Why?
My feet hurt.
That's what I said just before we met you. Funny. They're okay now.
I thought you said Central Garage, Dasher.
Did I?
Where are we going, Dasher?
Going? We're not going. We're there.
Yeah, you heard him, Georgie. We're there.
This garage?
Sure. What's wrong with the garage? Just the place for a nice, friendly game. Come on up the ramp, Georgie.
I don't feel like playing, Dasher.
Sure you do. You said so.
Yeah, but I just remembered. I don't have no dough on me. You won't need any dough, Georgie.
No dough for this game, Georgie.
Holly, you here too? Hey, what's going on?
Ramp, Georgie.
We got a new game, Georgie. It's called Stick the Pigeon.
No, you didn't.
Come on, get him inside before he wakes up the whole neighborhood.
Get up there.
Just look at Dasher.
No, get him in the back, way back. Come on. That's it.
No, I didn't do nothing. Honest, I'm clean.
Stand. And for money. And for Johnny Sugar.
I couldn't help it, Dasher. They had it on me for that Mercer Street job. They was going to fry me if I didn't talk.
Now, Dasher?
What else did you tell him?
Nothing, I swear. Let me go, Dasher. Let me live, Dasher.
Show him, Harry.
Only 4 feet long, Georgie.
No, not the rope.
What do you got for him, kid?
Steel. Makes a hole about a 16th of an inch across. Big enough.
Don't shoot me, Dasher. Not the pigs. Shoot me.
They're gonna burn, Stan. Marty will work his hands off in a jute mill. Johnny will go to the rock. We hate stoolies. And in a very few minutes, you, my friend, are going to be one dead pigeon. Okay, fellas.
No! I don't want to die. No, please!
Well, let me forget the note, kid. This pigeon is going to make a real fancy dressed package.
In just a moment, Crime Does Not Pay will continue with Dead Pigeon. Now, we continue with Crime Does Not Pay, starring Myron McCormick as Louis the Dasher Monroe in Dead Pigeon. They found George, the dead pigeon, next morning. The stolen car into which his body was tossed was abandoned on a quiet, tree-shaded residential street. A passing policeman noticed the cloth of George's coat caught in the door of the locked car. One look through the window, and that particular policeman was on his way to the nearest call box. Shortly thereafter, prowl cars, squad cars, an assistant medical examiner, and the wagon from the city morgue converged on the spot. That tree-shaded residential street was quiet no longer.
The ME is through, Lieutenant. Death by multiple stab wounds and strangling. Pockets? Nothing except this. Meet me, my office, Wednesday, 10 a.m., Tom Edwards. Oh, Billy Dew from the DA. Yeah, next county. Must have been a stoolie. We'll find out since we take his prints. Let's have a look at him. He's a mess, whoever he was. So's the car. Boys checking the plates? Oh, that won't give us anything. It'll be from another car. Standard practice. This one wasn't pretty, even living. What's this black stuff on his back? Smells like oil to me. Yeah, it is oil. That's funny, on his shirt, not on his jacket. You know how they operate. Pull his jacket over his head and let him have it. It falls on his shirt. Yeah. Oil. Look, Sorrell. Not one word to the newspaper boys about that note. Why not, Lieutenant? They'd love it. I know, but that's a warning to other stoolies. We're not doing any favors for the gangs yet. And run a check of all public garages within, say, 5 miles of here. That's a large order, Lieutenant. I know, Sorrell, but that oil comes from the floor of a garage. I'll bet on it. And I want to know which garage has a record of a car like this one. We might pick up some interesting leads that way. Never can tell. Company's come, Lieutenant. Picked up Joey here when he came to work tonight. Lieutenant Swenson, this is Joe. Hello, Joe. They still call you the baker?
No more, Lieutenant. I'm going straight now. I got this job and been sticking to it. Honest.
He's washing cars at that certain garage.
Well, just tell us the truth, Joe. You'll be all right.
I don't know nothing, Lieutenant. I pick up and deliver cars, too. I'm out of the garage most of my shift.
Yeah, we know that. You're reporting to the probation officer, Joe?
Yes, sir.
I thought so. You know, I think you're a lucky break for us.
Me? Lucky for you?
Sorrell, get a chair for our friend Joe.
Of course, Lieutenant.
Would you sit down, Joe?
That is, well...
I said sit down.
Yes, sir.
Now start talking, Joe.
What about?
Oh, stop that. You know about accessory after the fact.
I don't know nothing.
There was no call either to pick up or deliver at your garage from midnight last night until 4:12 this morning. The record's here on this sheet. You were there.
All right. I was sleeping in one of the cars where I could hear the phone.
And hear and see a murder committed. The murder our medical examiner says took place between 1 and 4 a.m. this morning. That left blood stains in the rear corner. That left oil smears on the back of the victim. You didn't sleep through anything like that, Joe. Now stop stalling.
or you'll go back to your cell up the river.
Have a heart, Lieutenant. If I talk, I'm good as dead.
If you talk, you'll live longer and better. Better than behind bars, Joe.
I can't. I can't. He was a stoolie. They'll give it to me the same way.
Then you saw it. You did see it.
I'm scared to talk, Lieutenant. I want to live. I want to live.
If all the lily lived. All right, sir. I'll take him down to Davis Street Jail and lock him up.
But I didn't do anything.
You're a material witness. And your bail is going to be as high as the DA can get the judge to make it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Keep step. Hey, you're here to exercise. No exercise. This ain't no playground. Keep moving.
Blackie,
No
you heard?
You know the rules.
Joe the Baker is here. Cell 23. Material witness, George the Pigeon. Pass it. Check. Hey, Phil. Joe the Baker. Cell 23. George the Pigeon. Material witness. Pass it.
I thought I just said no talking. Shut up, you hear?
Yes, I was talking, sir. Get word out, Joe the Baker. Cell 23, material witness, George the Pigeon.
Gotcha. I'll pass it.
Here I am, Keys. Is that you, Wally? Yeah. No name's Jerk.
Sorry, I heard something on the grapevine over Davis Street.
Spell it.
They got a witness on that pigeon killing.
They couldn't. Who is it?
Joe the Baker, remember?
Yeah. Where was he?
Asleep in a car. Noise woke him up.
Brother. Dasher will want to know about this. Fella, you earned your money this time. We set the bail?
Yeah. $100,000. Looks like they want to keep him.
So that's it, Dasher. Of all the lousy breaks.
And a character like that. Okay, Ollie, we'll get him out.
Spring him?
No, legitimate. We'll bail him out.
Well, we get the 100 G's.
Don't worry about that. The Constitution says no big bail or something. I'll send the mouthpiece into court in the morning. He'll get that bail reduced, and we'll put it up. Get it?
And then what?
When Joe the Baker walks out, we'll be waiting for him. He'll jump bail all right. They'll never find him. And it'll be worth every cent it'll cost us.
Okay, pal, you can have bail now.
Me? Who put up 100 G's for me?
How should I know? When it wasn't that much, some mouthpiece talked to the judge. It's down to 10 G's.
So long, Joe. It was nice knowing ya.
Drop us a postcard, Joey, if you can.
Get going, pal.
I ain't going. What? I don't know who put up the money. I ain't got no mouthpiece. I ain't going. Can't make me go if I don't want to. I don't want no bail. I want to stay here where I'm safe. You think I'm crazy? The minute I step on the street, I'm dead. I won't do it. Nobody can make me.
You getting me this straight, Ollie?
Straight like I got it. Our pal, the Keys, says Joe suddenly got smart and refused to bail.
What wised him up?
Seems like the other characters in his cell block began wishing him goodbye. That's what he got wise.
I'd like to...
Easy, Dasher. That's my job.
Those dumb, stupid... Next thing you know, the Baker will start to talk.
I wouldn't be surprised if we could just get him out for 30 seconds.
If. Haven't you any imagination? Figure something.
As long as he stays in there, who can touch him?
Well, how about a writ or something?
Well, they're holding him as a material witness without a charge for his own protection.
Don't look good to me. We can't get him out, and we can't get in.
Can't we? What are we paying that jailer for? A news broadcast?
Maybe you've got something, Dasher.
The first time I ever heard of anybody who wanted to get into jail. You got an idea, Dasher?
Why can't Joe have a visitor?
No reason why not. Oh, no, Dasher. This is one job that's not for me.
What's so tough? Our boyfriend lets one of us in. We get to Joe. The Keys turns his back. A fast shiv, and that's that.
Dasher, you mean Right in his cell?
Oh, the visitor's room, not regular hours. Maybe 10 o'clock at night. Keys will play along. He'd better. He has to go home when he's off shift.
It don't feel right, Dasher. Too close to the line.
If Joe the baker speaks up in court, we're over the line.
You better count me out, Dasher.
Hey, me too. I need room to work. Jail's no place for me.
Ollie?
I get a rash every time I go near a jail. They don't agree with me. Honest, Dasher.
But I'll wait outside with a car.
I get it. You're all turning chicken.
Do we gotta take care of him that way?
If there was any other way, wouldn't I figure it?
Yeah, sure you would.
Hey, couldn't we draw straws or something? Short man has to go in.
No straws. A job like this you have to want to do or you'll slip someplace. All right. This is the way it has to be. Ollie.
Yes.
Contact your pal.
Okay.
Joe the baker gets his visitor. Tonight.
Who's that?
You got a visitor, Joe.
Visitor? Me? You want to see me, and since when visitor's 10 o'clock at night?
You asked too many questions. Come on.
Hey, I don't understand.
Come on your feet, Joey. Let's go.
Okay, I'm coming. Hey, this ain't the way to the visitor's room?
Well, not the day room. At night, we got a special place down near the kitchen.
Yeah. Okay.
It's in here, Joey.
Hello, Joey. Nice to see you.
Dasher.
Shut up. Don't use my name.
Keep away from me. Keep away. Help. Keys. Hey, Keys.
Keys won't help you. He's gone to bed.
Don't come near me. Don't. I'll cry on you, Dasher. Don't come close.
Put down that baseball bat, Joe. Take your medicine like a man.
Ice cream. Chocolate ice cream. We used the bat to pack the ice in the ice cream freezer. What a break.
Put it down, Joe. Be nice, and I'll make it quick. Otherwise, in the belly. Come on, put it down, Joe.
I won't. You don't get me, Dasher. I'll break your arm. Put away that shiv, Dasher. Put it away.
You're gonna get it, Joe, just the way Georgie got it, and you know about that.
I saw you. Keep away from me, Dasher.
Well, get Joe's back. All right, Dasher, drop that knife.
Look out, Flatfoot.
I thought he was going to cut me. I thought he was going to cut me.
I will, you lousy stoolie.
You got a hard chin, Dasher.
Oh, my jaw. My jaw's cracked.
Your bracelet's on him, Sorrel. You didn't figure we'd have a tail on you, did you, Dasher? You didn't figure we'd pick up Ollie and the kid and Harry in the car outside. And you didn't figure to fry for killing Georgie, did you, Dasher? You just didn't figure a lot of things.
Crime does not pay. Myron McCormick, who was starred as Louis the Dasher in Dead Pigeon, will be back with you in just a moment. Now, here in person is Myron McCormick.
Not many of you believe that the world of Louis the Dasher, Ohio Ollie, and George the Pigeon is a world of fantasy, drawn from the vivid imagination of a writer of crime stories. I'm glad that you can believe this, but the fact remains that you must not believe it, because this world really exists. This is shocking, I know, and you have every right to ask not only what is to be done about it, but how it happened, and how such things can be prevented. The police do what can be done. This underworld came into being largely because of the kind of greed that breeds in slums and dire poverty. These things can be rooted out at their source. This is a basic goal toward which our civilization is moving. When we have reached that goal, you and I and all good citizens, then we will have demonstrated once and for all that Crime does not pay.
Thank you, Myron McCormick. Crime Does Not Pay is written by Ira Marion and directed by Max D. Loeb, with music composed and conducted by John Gart. Technical advisor is Burton B. Turtis. The event's characters fictitious. Any similarity is purely coincidental.
And now, Gangbusters! Gangbusters, presented in cooperation with police and federal law enforcement departments throughout the United States. The only national program that brings you authentic police case histories. Gangbusters has asked the Honorable John J. Sullivan, former Deputy Commissioner and Chief of Detectives of the New York City Police Department, to narrate by proxy tonight's case. Chief Sullivan, you've told me that the gang in tonight's case caused New York City Police great concern a year or so ago.
That's right, Don. But when criminals follow a pattern, investigating detectives cut themselves a pattern, and somewhere the two are likely to cross, as you will see.
Well, why don't you tell us about it, Chief Sullivan?
Okay, Don. I think the best place to start would be in the living room of a small apartment in the section of New York City known as Chelsea. It was late at night, and the three persons in the room seemed more occupied with their own thoughts than with each other. A tall, not unattractive bleached blonde was sprawled on the studio couch working a crossword puzzle. Across the room, a young man about 30 sat reading one of New York's tabloids. In the straight chair near the door, another man about the same age, but dark and wiry, just sat thinking. Finally, the thinker got up and, with some effort, walked across the room to the reader.
Hey, Luke, you got a pencil?
No.
Can't you get your nose out of the headlines for a minute?
I got no pencil.
Well, you had one before. I seen it.
I lent it to Angel to work the crossword puzzle.
Oh, whoever heard of a house with only one pencil? Hey, Angel.
No, I need it. Hey, what's a four-letter word means combustion?
Who cares?
Ends with a E, I think, if strangle's okay for choke.
F-I-R-E.
Yeah, that's it.
What do you need a pencil for, Alfie?
I want to draw pictures.
Didn't I tell you not to write any letters?
Oh, now listen, my mother's entitled to know where I am.
What are you, kidding knee pants? You got to tell your mother everything you do?
Well, she's an old lady. She'd like to know.
So would a few cops around Chicago. They probably figure you're dope enough to write home, so don't.
Yeah, but she's an old lady.
Alfie, sit down.
Oh, now wait a minute.
We left Chicago because they had us made in those stick-ups. Another 2 or 3 days there, they would have had us, right?
Maybe.
Because we've been a month in New York don't mean the Chicago cops ain't still itching for us. So just don't write any letters, that's all.
Luke.
What?
Get out of this dump. Let's go get something to eat, huh?
Work your crossword puzzle, will you?
Months we've been in New York. I don't know Times Square from Grant's Tomb.
You don't shut up, you'll get acquainted with your own tomb.
Honest, Luke, I really ought to write her.
Don't. You haven't got time. Not tonight.
We're not going to do some more work, not tonight.
What are we waiting for? Too much of a job, carrying around all the money I'm making you?
Well, you talk like I'm on charity. I do my share, you know.
Of the legwork, yeah.
About the thinking, too.
Yeah, it was you who had the bright idea with the East Side Power Company, huh?
Okay. You can take all the glory. Now, but tell me why tonight? Why can't we rest for a change?
Because tomorrow is payday at the power plant on 41st Street. Because that means tomorrow night the bars and liquor stores in the neighborhood around there will be loaded.
So what's that got to do with tonight?
We got to go out and look over the joints we're going to make, don't we? We can't walk into them cold. We got to make a selection.
You're going to leave me alone again tonight?
You got your crosswords, haven't you?
There's a lot more in life than crosswords.
Luke, why don't you go by yourself and look over those joints? You don't need me to make up your mind.
Get your hat, Alfie.
Oh, okay. I'll get my hat.
Wouldn't you like to take me along for company?
No. I don't want you involved.
Don't want me involved. I traveled with you from Chicago to New York. You're hot for 9 stick-ups there. You already pulled a dozen here. I came of my own free will, and you don't want me involved. What do you think I am, a newborn babe or something?
Make yourself comfortable, Angel. I'll bring you back some more crosswords. What do you say, Alfie?
I'm ready.
Then let's go. Mackie.
Yeah, Lieutenant?
Where's Sergeant Ryan?
Well, he went downstairs to the detail room a minute, Lieutenant. He said that... Oh, here he comes now.
Ryan.
Yeah, boss?
Come in here a minute, will you?
Something doing, Lieutenant?
Stick around, Mackie. We may have something for you.
Right, Lieutenant.
Hey, come on in, Ryan.
Boss. Find a ray of hope?
Yeah, I think maybe I did.
I hate to be a wet blanket, Lieutenant, but this pair won't be so easy to run down.
Well, I sat up nearly all night doing some thinking.
Yeah?
Those two knocked off 6 taverns and liquor stores all in one night. And all between 14th and 23rd Streets, east of 2nd.
This I know. So?
Well, it's all in the neighborhood of the East Side Power Company's downtown plant.
Oh, now, boss, if you think it's a couple of guys who pull a job and duck down into a manhole...
No, wait a minute, Ryan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Monday night, they did their work. Monday was payday at the downtown power plant. I just checked.
Well?
Now, a couple of thousand employees get paid off. This bunch figures the bars and liquor stores in the neighborhood must be loaded with cash.
He called you on the phone and said that's how they figure, huh?
Well, it's a shot in the dark, but at least it's a shot.
Oh, you've got a point, but how does that get us, the two guys?
Today is payday at the Midtown power plant at 41st Street.
And we can expect them to hit the joints in that district tonight?
They had a lot of luck with the other payday. Why shouldn't they try to repeat?
Boss, when they made you a lieutenant, they were right. I admit it.
I'm much obliged, Ryan. I think we ought to pick out a dozen or so saloons and liquor stores near that Midtown power plant. We'll set them up tonight with 2 detectives in each place in the back or somewhere, okay?
Yeah. Can you get the men?
I just spoke to the chief's office. They're assigning us 20 extra for tonight. They'll send them down from the Bronx and from Brooklyn, and a few from Queens.
Well, it's worth a shot, all right.
And we'll pick the places we want to stake out.
Do I get first choice, boss?
You get first choice, Ryan.
Alfie?
What?
What's the capital of IRAQ?
How should I know what's the capital of IRAQ? Look, Angel, it embarrasses me to sit in a saloon with a girl working crosswords. Why don't you order a drink? If you don't want it, just keep it in front of you.
Where is that place, anyhow?
Where is it? What is it? Who cares? Luke said 2 o'clock. Meet him here at 2 o'clock. I'm jumpy already. He's going to have me in fine shape for them jobs tonight, keeping me waiting.
Got an extra puzzle.
Look, how can I work a crossword if I don't know what's the capital of Asia or something? Hey, did Luke tell you he's got 6 joints he wants to knock over tonight?
So what? You figure 5 minutes each and the whole business is done in a half hour?
You figure. What do you think this is? We just...
What's the matter?
He's here. 2 o'clock, he told us, and it's 3 nearly.
He never missed a train in his life.
What's this got to do with trains?
Hello, Angel.
Hi.
Where you been, anyway? 2 o'clock, I got here sharp.
I've been shopping.
Sit down, Luke.
Been shopping for a present for my Angel.
For me?
Didn't he say it?
Is that it, that package?
Yep.
What is it, Luke? Can I open it now?
When'll you get home?
Oh.
Let her open it, Luke. I'm curious.
I know what it is. It's a dictionary.
It's not a dictionary.
Oh, it isn't?
Oh, come on, Luke. Let her open it up.
If Luke says wait till I get home, I can wait.
What are you drinking there, Alfie?
What do you take? Whiskey. My old lady always said, Alfie, if you got a drink, drink whiskey, and drink it straight.
Good for your old lady, but make this the last one.
The last one? It's the first one.
Better still, we got a big night. I want you with a clear head. I got it all mapped out.
Not including that liquor store on 41st.
Yeah, including the liquor store on 41st.
Oh, look, I didn't like that one from the beginning, and I don't like it now. A breakaway's going to be tough.
They do a lot of business. For a lot of dough, we can stand a tough breakaway.
But it's too near the theater there. There's always a cop on the corner, sometimes two.
By the time the cop on the corner hears about it, we'll be far enough away to stop for a short beer.
Who drinks beer? My old lady says beer's
quit
bad.
with your old lady, will you? How do you spell Peddler? How many D's, I mean?
What difference does it make? Come on, let's get out of here.
Well, wait till I finish my drink. That's it.
Come on, will you?
See, Alfie? One's life is never one's own.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see.
This is going to be a long, hard night, Mackie. I hope you brought your hot water bottle.
Yeah, you should have reminded me sooner, Sergeant. How did we happen to draw this 41st Street store, anyway?
Well, I had a long chat with the lieutenant.
Oh, what are you handing me? If I was sticking up saloons and liquor stores in this neighborhood, this would be the last place on my list. There's always a cop on the corner not 20 feet away.
Maybe, but the size of the till can make up for a lot of disadvantages.
We shall, as the saying goes, see. After you, Sergeant.
Much obliged.
Can I help you, gentlemen? We have a special today on our own brand of Puerto Rican rum.
Rum? Are people still drinking that stuff?
We're from the police department.
Was that so?
Is Mr. Simon here?
I'm Mr. Simon. Something the matter?
No, not yet. I'm Sergeant Ryan. This is Detective Mackey.
Oh, how do you do?
Sir?
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
What's through that door behind the partition there?
Well, just a little stock room.
A room for the two of us until the store closes?
I think so, but why?
We've got an idea that you may have a couple of visitors tonight.
Visitors?
Stick-up men.
I don't think so on account of vocation. I've been in business here 14 years. I haven't had any trouble yet, Sergeant.
You've been lucky.
I wouldn't call it luck. There's always a cop right on the corner.
We won't be in your way, though, if we stick around just the same, man.
Oh, listen, it's your time. Spend it here if you want.
We'll just make ourselves at home back there, okay?
Anything's okay.
And we leave the door open a little so we can hear what the customers have to say.
I know my business, Sergeant. I guess you know yours.
Let's hope I do. Come on, Maggie.
Yes, Sergeant.
Just go right in.
Well, it's not exactly what I'd call home.
No. Close the door, son.
Yeah. How's that?
That ought to do. Well, let's get as comfortable as we can.
So, Don, through brilliant deduction, detectives were planted at one of the very places the stick-up men, Luke Stone and Alfie Riga, planned to rob that night. There was a tragedy ahead, and like all tragedies, it was least expected by the victim.
You were telling us, Chief Sullivan, that Lieutenant Hanson of the New York City Police had planted teams of detectives at various bars and liquor stores near a 41st Street power plant, anticipating that any one of them might be held up.
That's right, Don. Sergeant Ryan and Detective Mackey were assigned to hide in the stockroom of a certain liquor store on 41st Street. And this particular store was on the list of robberies planned for that night by Luke Stone and Alfie Riga. It was near midnight, 4 hours since the detectives started their watch in the stockroom, and the owner of the store was alone in front straightening his stock. He heard the street door open and looked around.
It's miserable outside. Miserable.
We have a special tonight on rum, Puerto Rican rum.
I look like a rummy? Give me a pint of wine.
I don't think I'll give you anything. You look like you had a big night already.
I tell you, it's miserable out. What do you mean you won't give me anything? You're in the business of selling, ain't you?
And I want to stay in business. Now, go on.
Look, I got money, lots of money. I got $1. Is that enough for a pint of wine? It's enough for a quart, maybe a gallon.
It's enough for a taxi to take you home.
Look, I don't want to go home. It's too miserable. I want a pint of wine.
Now, go on home, will you? I got other customers. Good evening, gentlemen.
What do you say?
Too miserable to go home.
We have a special tonight, Puerto Rican rum.
You like rum, pal?
I hate this stuff.
It's miserable.
Well, just take the dough you got. Reach.
Go on, get 'em up.
All right, don't shoot.
Hey, all I want some wine.
Shut up, you. Get around and back there, pal. Get the dough.
Yeah, you betcha.
All right, we're police officers. Drop those guns.
Luke, come here, you.
Let go. Drop those guns. Oh, man, will you?
Listen, copy. You shoot this guy.
Oh, me?
Stay still.
You better get smart, boy.
Take another step, he gets shot anyway. You understand?
Let him go.
Shut up, you. Okay, rumpot, we're going out the door. Come on.
Hey, I don't want to go out.
Come on. Stay where you are, copy.
I don't want to.
Shut up. Get the door, pal. Now, listen, coppers. We're taking this guy with us. Stay in here and don't move or we'll kill him. I swear to you, we'll kill him.
Let me go here.
Still, you.
I want it.
Okay. Go on, move. Don't need me close.
All right, drop that gun.
Yeah?
Answer him. Come on, let's go.
On the way down to 37th Street, I chased him, Lieutenant. He ducked in someplace, I don't know where. The other one's been out to a Tudor City with Mackey after him.
Yes, I know, Ryan. We just got a report from the neighborhood. The one Mackey was chasing hopped in a cab and headed downtown. Mackey must be following him.
What about that man, the drunk?
Oh, the ambulance is there now. Abbott just reported in. He was dead on arrival. Yeah. Look, I'm just going to leave here now and head for the scene. Meet me there, will you, Ryan?
Yeah, boss. Just as soon as we make sure this other one isn't in the neighborhood.
Hey, what's the matter? Can't you get a little more speed out of this hack?
Up, mister. I'm going fast enough for Lexington Avenue. I don't want to spend no morning in traffic.
I say move, so you move.
If you don't like it, I'll pull over. You can flag another cab. There's thousands of them.
Look, there's a gun in the back of your head, buddy. Now move this crate downtown.
Oh. Okay, that's the way you put it.
Yeah, that's the way I put it.
There's a red light at the next corner. What do I do? Stop or go on through?
You stop.
Okay, I stop.
Don't get nervous, buddy. You'll get taken care of for this.
Don't take care of me. Just get out of my car, will you? You can forget what's on the clock. It's on the house.
Yeah, I like you.
Thanks for the compliment. Don't do me any favors.
Hey, go on. Get going.
That's what you say.
Go on, get going. It's the law.
That's just what I was looking for.
Right.
Okay, you come out of there.
Watch him, officer. He's got a gun.
Drop it.
Okay. Okay, don't try nothing. I'm cooked.
Drop the gun.
Yeah, it's dropped.
Now, come on out of there.
Yeah, sure. Just take it easy, huh?
Driver.
Yeah?
Reach back there and get me his gun off the floor.
Yes. I got it. Now, listen, officer.
Shut up. Now, give it here, driver.
Yeah.
That was nice work. Give me a signal to follow you.
Thanks, officer. I'm sure glad you noticed my lights blinking.
Okay. Follow us to the station house.
Yes, sir.
Okay, mister, in my car. Make it snappy.
Yeah, I'm getting.
Right in the car.
Okay. I'm in.
All right. East 51st Street Station House. Let's go.
Yeah, who is it?
Come on, Angel, open up.
Yeah, just a second.
Alfie get here yet?
Oh, wasn't he with you?
We had some trouble. We had to split up.
What kind of trouble?
I was shot.
Is he dead?
I didn't stick around to find out. Look, if Alfie hasn't shown up yet, maybe the cops got him.
Well, if they got Alfie, you don't want to be around here.
I had to find out. They won't get anything out of him for an hour or so, at least. Look, Angel, get the bags packed. We're moving out.
Out of New York?
Sure, out of New York.
I like it here.
Get the bags packed. And meanwhile, I'll get out in the street. If Alfie shows up, everything's fine. If he don't, we gotta move.
But if they got him, cops will be all over this place.
Okay, here's how we'll work it. A little after 1. I'll get out and stay out about 3 hours. If Alfie shows up, or if no cops come calling, leave the light on in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it from the street. I'll know everything's okay.
What am I going to do here in the meantime?
You gotta pack our stuff.
How long can that take?
After you get finished, then work some of your crosswords. You got enough of them around here, and don't forget the light, if everything's okay.
I won't.
So long, Angel. I'll see you in about 3 hours.
All I know, I tell you. Well, listen, I give you the guy's name, and I just give you the address of the apartment, didn't I?
Where were the two of you planning to meet if something went wrong?
Who figured out something going wrong?
This girl, this Angel, she's at the apartment?
Yeah, I guess so.
What's she doing there?
How should I know what she's doing there? Maybe she's working one of her crossword puzzles.
Puzzles, huh?
Yeah.
And where were you going to meet Lou?
How many times have I got to say it? No place, no place.
Okay, Ryan, that's enough with him. Mackie.
Yeah, Lieutenant?
Take him upstairs.
Come on, boy.
Okay.
We'll let you rest a while.
Honest, guys, I told you what I know. We had no place else we was going to meet. Only the apartment.
All right. Get him out of here, Mackie.
Yeah. Through that door, Alfie. Go on.
Okay, Ryan. Take a couple of men down to the apartment. See if Luke's shown up.
If he hasn't?
Then talk with the girl. Maybe she knows where he could have gone.
Okay, boss.
And watch out for this Luke guy. He's got one gun wrap hanging over him. He won't think twice before he pulls that trigger again.
All right, just a second. Yeah, who is it?
A friend of Alfie's.
Don't you know it's 3 o'clock in the morning?
Come on, Angel, open up.
Okay, just a second. Now, what... Oh. You're the law, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, come in.
Angel? You're an angel.
Alfie's in the clink, huh?
How'd you guess?
Oh, figured.
Where did Luke go?
Luke?
Yeah.
Why don't you ask Alfie? He's seen him since I have.
Oh, no, Angel. There's a party downstairs that saw Luke go out an hour ago. Out of here.
Ain't neighbors nosy.
Don't mind if I make myself comfortable, do you?
Make yourself whatever you like.
Oh? See, you're all packed. You going to meet Luke someplace?
I guess I'm not.
Where were you going to meet him, Angel?
In Chicago, on the corner of State and Madison at 2:30 Friday afternoon. What else would you like to know?
Where were you going to meet him?
Look, why don't you just haul me in?
What's your hurry?
I'm going to get hauled in tonight. I might as well get locked up in time to get a little sleep.
Ah, you mean Luke's coming back here?
I didn't say that.
Look, Angel, he's got a lot of trouble now. You don't want to see him get any more, do you?
His trouble is his business.
Well, I think I'll just stick around a while.
Okay. Have it your way. Just let me turn out a few of the lights around here.
Leave those lights alone, Angel. Come here.
What do you want?
What have the lights got to do with it?
Electric bills are big enough.
Well, just leave them on.
Say, whose apartment is this?
Just leave them on. Uh-oh. Who's the crossword puzzle fan?
Me. That's all I got to do, crosswords.
No kidding. I love the puzzles myself. You do this one?
Yeah. But I couldn't finish it. I got stuck.
Oh, this is a cinch. Sovereign. That's a king.
No kidding.
And Canadian city, A-L. That's Alberta.
Hey, you're good.
You know that big puzzle in the Times on Sunday?
Yeah, I tried it once. I didn't get to first base.
I finish it. All the time.
You fill in everything?
Every word. Been doing it for 15 years. My hobby.
Gee, I wish I could say that. Every week in the Times?
Sure. Nothing to it. He's going to show back here, isn't he, Angel?
I don't know.
You wouldn't want to see him hurt, would you?
Yeah, Luke's coming back here.
When? And what's the lights got to do with it?
He's coming back about 4. If everything's okay, I got to leave the light on in the living room. You can see it from the street.
Okay, you'll see it.
How'd you get to know all those words? Even with a dictionary must be hard.
Oh, sometimes it is, Angel. You just got to get to the bottom of the puzzle.
You start at the bottom, I always start at the top.
We'll talk about puzzles later, Angel. I got to get ready to welcome Luke home. Okay, boss. I got Mackey and Adler planted in the hallway across the street. Those 2 men from the main office squad are inside a door downstairs. They'll follow them.
Good work, Ryan.
Now, what about Angel?
She's in there in the bedroom.
Don't you think we ought to have her out here to answer Villa?
Yeah. Go on, get her.
Hello, Angel.
Well,
the lieutenant wants you to answer the door when Luke knocks.
Okay.
Here she is, Lieutenant.
You've been a lot of help so far, Angel. Luke's probably in a pretty desperate state right now. If you continue to help us, you might prevent some more shooting.
I'll help him. What do I have to do?
Well, it's about time now. He'll be knocking on the door any second. And when he does knock, I want you to walk over and say everything is fine. And when you open up, we'll grab him. You jump back.
Okay.
All right, now I think we ought to keep quiet for a while. You may listen in the hall.
Okay. Sergeant, do you get those crossword books?
Quiet, ain't it?
Oh. Okay. Hey, Sergeant, if it's not asking too much, sometimes you...
Quiet.
That's his knock.
Okay, go to the door. Ryan, you ready?
Yeah. Go on, Angel.
Luke?
Everything okay?
Yeah, okay.
Open up.
All right.
Stand back, Angel.
Look, Angel, they got to help you.
Grab him.
Hey, hold still, Luke. Hold still.
Angel, you're right.
Get him. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's that.
Maybe I shouldn't have done it. Maybe I should have stuck by him.
You did right, Angel. He wouldn't have stuck by you. Come on, Ryan, let's get him in.
That, Don, was the end of another gang of stick-up men who operated in New York City last spring. These killers are now serving life sentences in Sing Sing.
Well, thank you, Chief Sullivan, for telling us this case history. And Gangbusters, congratulations to all the New York detectives who participated in the investigation leading to the arrest and conviction of these killers. And now, as a special feature, Gangbusters presents the courageous taxicab driver who aided New York City police in apprehending the criminal Alfie Riga in tonight's case. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ernest G. Lance.
Thank you, Don Gardner, and good evening, Gangbusters listeners.
Well, Mr. Lance, I understand that you're a former technical sergeant in the Air Force and the holder of the Air Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters and 7 battle stars. Tell me, how did you feel when you halted your taxicab and helped capture this gunman?
Well, Don, it all happened so quickly that I didn't have time to think how I felt.
Well, why not tell us about it, Ernie?
All right, Don. I was cruising in my cab when I saw Alfie Riga hurrying from the scene of the shooting and holdup. I noticed he had something that looked like a gun in his pocket. He got into the cab. I drove off, and when I saw the police officer in the patrol car, I signaled him to follow me. He did so. When I got the chance at an intersection, I stopped. Then the policeman ran up, his hand on his gun, and arrested Riga. I didn't have time to get worried, at least until we all reached the police station. I got a good look at the gun that Riga had been carrying.
Well, thank you, Ernest G. Lance, for coming tonight and telling our millions of listeners about your thrilling experience. And Gangbusters, congratulations to you for your alertness and courage. Gangbusters! Tonight's case was dramatized by Stanley Niss and directed by William Sweets, with Mandel Kramer and Elspeth Eric in leading roles. Don Gardner speaking. Gangbusters is a Phillips H. Lord production.
Proudly we hail from New York City, where the American stage begins. Here is another program with a cast of outstanding players. Public service time has been made available by this station for your Army and your Air Force to bring you this story. The title of our story is Routine Patrol, and it salutes the courage and daring that has become the trademark of the United States Infantry. Our first act curtain will rise in just a moment, but first, young man, why not let a thought for tomorrow be your thought for today? Right now, your United States Army, the senior service, needs qualified technicians in such varied and interesting fields as radio, radar, meteorology, photography, and many, many others. Yes, you can be trained to do a job and acquire a skill that will be of great benefit to you for the rest of your life. You can also take pride in the fact that you answered your country's call in time of great need. Why not let a thought for tomorrow be your thought for today? Visit your nearest United States Army and United States Air Force recruiting station and enlist in the United States Army. And now your Army and your Air Force present the Proudly We Hail production, Routine Patrol. To the infantry soldier crouching in a foxhole, life is a purely routine matter. You stay where you are, you move forward, or you go back. There are patrols, artillery barrages, mortar fire, and what's worse perhaps than all of these, periods of intense, nerve-wracking silence. But after a while, each day becomes like every other day. This is the story of 3 soldiers who started out one night on a routine patrol.
It just never stops raining.
They say this is the rainiest season Korea's had in 87 years.
There's something about a war that brings on the rain. I remember in Normandy.
Hey. You hear something? Sounds like trucks.
Now what are they doing?
A lot of trucks. They must be reinforcing or relieving one.
Well, at least they're getting as wet as we are.
Hand me the phone, Maitland.
Yes, sir.
Liverlips calling the Great White Father. Great White Father.
Great White Father.
Liverlips, a little action. Lots of trucks fooling around to our front. Hold it. Hey, Maitland, where would you say that was on a map?
Say positions 5, 6, 7, and maybe 8.
Positions 5 through 8 on a map.
We'll have 81s on it in 30 seconds.
Great White Father. Explain to them jokers the range is at least 600. That's all we need is some 81 mortars coming in here with us.
I'll hook up so you can direct the fire. Over.
Over. And I wish this blamed night was over, too. So far, a routine action. The rain, that's routine. The report of activity, that's also routine. And back at the command post, the company commander's reaction is also purely routine.
Question is, what are they doing? They building up or pulling out?
One way to find out, Captain.
We need a prisoner. Gray, your platoon's in reserve. Send out a patrol. This isn't too much. 3 men could handle it.
Yes, sir.
Non-com would be just what the doctor ordered.
I'll get your patrol out there in 30 minutes.
Good. Sergeant, notify the outpost your patrol will be moving out. And spread the word along the foxholes. They would pick a night like this.
800 yards away in the cellar of a ruined farmhouse, the first platoon is spending a luxurious evening out of the rain.
You all think this is a rain. Man, when it comes down in Florida...
I thought it never rained in Florida. It's supposed to be against some kind of law.
Roseblatt, how'd you all like to go out on a patrol tonight?
I'd like it the same way I'd like a toothache. Patrol. Bite your tongue, rebel.
Well, I got a feeling.
Look, why don't you roll into your sack? Patrol. I wouldn't send a dog out on patrol on a night like this.
Hey, man. Lieutenant. Well, this is bad news, Roseblatt.
Yeah. He didn't get wet for nothing.
Sergeant Gillespie?
Yes, sir.
Sergeant, the outpost reports unusual activity in the enemy lines. Vicinity of map positions 5 through 8. Captain wants a prisoner. Take 2 good men with you.
Yes, sir.
Try to get us a non-com. We've alerted our lines to expect you to go out and come in.
Start now, sir?
As soon as you can. This rain should be great help. Good luck, Gillespie.
Yes, sir. All right, you heard the man. Roseblatt.
This I could have won bets on.
Manson. Oh, now, Sarge, you don't want me. I distinctly heard the lieutenant say to take a good man.
Now, get a couple extra clips for that Tommy gun. Roseblatt, trade somebody your M1 for a carbine.
Patrol. You did it, you rebel. You went and hexed it.
Leave all your extra stuff here. We'll smoke a cigarette and take off.
So far, it's still routine. A patrol is selected, the members indulge in the usual griping, weapons are checked, the routes planned, and the 3-man patrol starts out, just as they've started out many times in the past. They reach their own front lines, wave at a rifle team in a foxhole, and carefully work their way forward towards the enemy line.
I keep close. Can't see a thing in this rain.
Lester, there's supposed to be mines just up ahead.
Yeah, I know. Manson.
Yeah?
Just checking you didn't goof off on me.
Well, Sergeant, how you do carry on. Man, there ain't nothing I'd rather be doing on a rainy night like this.
That's all we needed.
Yeah, I hope that don't start the music all the way up and down the line.
Hey, you think we've been spotted?
Nah, just somebody getting trigger happy. Now, come on, I'm moving to the right.
How about them trees? We're going through there?
Yeah, it's just what I had in mind.
Look, unless they're stupid and they're not, they should expect the patrol to move in that way and litter the whole place with mines.
Yeah, I know. We don't have any other way in. Come on. Only hurts for a minute.
Wait a minute. Listen.
Yeah, those are trucks, all right. A lot of trucks.
Yeah, the commies are up to something.
Yeah. But what?
That's the kind of curiosity that lands guys like us out here.
Curiosity, man. That's what kills cats and people.
You take me now. I'm an expert on curiosity. For no good reason at all, I had to study Chinese at NYU. The 3-man patrol moved forward again.
At any moment, they may be discovered. Perhaps the enemy will shoot first. Perhaps he'll challenge them and give them a chance to surrender. The odds are about equal, either way. But it's all part of the job, part of the routine. Soon, the underbrush thins out, and the three stop to take their bearings.
Sounds like action over there. Let's keep behind those bushes. Work our way in. Eddie, can you peek around there?
Yeah. It's a truck. The guy's getting off. 快点，大伙都出来，老陈，告诉他们站好在什么地方。别抽烟，快点，老陈。
What's he saying, Rothblatt?
No smoking. He's a real chicken, he is.
快点！
This truck must be bringing in guys out to the line.
告诉大伙
Look.
站好在什么地方。
Can you see the marks on that joker's collar?
Looks to me like he's a corporal.
Good enough. Let's bag him. Yeah. Those guys are digging in.
How do you want to take our boy?
That's no good. They're all too close together.
Look, the first guy's coming back to the truck. He's getting in.
Yeah. Gonna have a little trouble pulling out.
You all know what I think? There's a lot of action here, which makes it good for us. Everybody's busy.
Hey, as long as we got to move forward, why walk?
Sure. Why walk?
Listen, I think this guy's name was Chen. Let's see what happens.
Chen! Chen! Stop giving light! Come down! Try down!
Here it comes.
Come down!
Now! That's it. Might find some use for this boy later. Can you carry him, Eddie?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I'll wear his hat. That should be good enough in the dark.
Yeah, Chen and Eddie and I will ride in the back.
Sit on, Chen, and keep low. I'll drive.
All right.
Come on. Let's get a move on.
All right, we're all set.
How's Chen doing?
Chen should be asleep for a long time.
Good. We're off. You know, I think we're nuts.
Having Chen here is a PFC. In their armor, that's almost as good as a non-com.
Well, if the worst comes to the worst, we can always bring him back.
Hey, maybe we can bring back a lieutenant.
Oh, no. That'd be too much. No, I'll settle for a sergeant or even a corporal. What are you slowing down for?
Somebody's standing in the road waving at me. Looks like an officer.
Well, business is getting better all the time.
I gotta stop.
局长在什么地方？
这什么？
傻子！
Hands up, buddy!
玫瑰！
Rothblatt, he's going for that pistol.
What happened?
He was looking for some sergeant when I told him to put his hands up.
Yeah, that shooting's bound to bring him buzzing around. I figure there's a patrol loose for sure.
Yeah, they won't figure on us heading further in. They'll think we're trying to get back to our lines.
Hey, what's that up ahead?
Looks like a farmhouse.
Well, pull in off the road. Manson, you stay here with Chen. Rothblatt, let's you and me take a quick peek through them windows.
Somebody must have heard them shots. Here comes half of the army.
Let's pull Chen's hat down over my eyes. You guys hug the floor.
Right.
You're in Patala.
Hey, they're leaving. How'd you bluff that one off?
I told them I had some casualties in the truck.
Well, Chen is a casualty, if you want to look at it that way.
Wait a minute. Our guys are starting a barrage. Pull out of here, Rothblatt.
Where can we go? We head back to the lines, we'll get blown up.
We can't stay here either, Sarge. They must have this farmhouse zeroed in. We got to get off it.
You guys want to leave the truck?
What's going to happen to our boy?
Get out of here. That's the first thing.
Which way?
Straight ahead.
Hey, Sarge, we're way on the other side of their lines. Manchuria's that way.
I don't care. I don't want to get knocked off by one of our own 155.
Well, if you don't care, I don't care either.
All right, Chen, I'll let you know when we get to Shanghai.
I got a hunch, guys. Just a hunch that this is a lucky night.
All I know is every minute we're going further away from home.
Rothblatt.
Yeah.
What's that up ahead? Somebody's waving at you.
There's a car over by the side of the road. Do I stop for this guy?
Why, sure. That's an officer. We got plenty of room. Uh-oh. I see now. That car there has a flat tire.
Hey, thinks we're stopping to give him a lift?
Well, ain't we?
There he comes. Oh, brother, no.
What?
It's a captain.
Right now. You, American.
Hands up, Captain. Get that pistol, Manson.
Got it.
Let him stay up in the front seat with you, Rothblatt. Explain if he opens that yap that I'll blast him.
I speak English.
Good. Well, let's have a meeting of the minds here. One word out of you, and it's strike three. Let's go, Rothblatt.
You go wrong way. Before you this America. Crazy.
He says we're crazy. I think he's right.
Listen.
What's the matter with it?
I don't know.
Sounds like we're out of gas.
Wait a minute. Let me figure out this dashboard.
That dial over there, that must be the gas gauge.
No, that's oil. Got plenty of oil. Here it is.
We're dry, all
Well,
right.
I didn't notice any extra can laying around anywheres either.
Hey, grab him, Eddie. Trying to make a break.
Hold it. That won't do any good.
My fault. I took my eyes off him for just a second.
Off the truck, quick.
Where to?
Head for them woods.
Besides, we can't try to get back now. They'll be looking for us all up and down the line. We can never sneak out.
Well, we couldn't go back anyways. Remember, we still don't have a prisoner.
You are listening to the proudly we hail production of Routine Patrol. We'll return to our story in just a moment. It shall not happen here. That is the unspoken prayer of every man in the United States Army. That is the unspoken reason for our growing military might. But the time has come to speak. The time has come to tell of that small phrase, those 5 words, it shall not happen here. Let us speak only to those young men of America who have not taken pause to think. Let's shout it in a voice that will reach into every city and village across the length and breadth of this great land. Young man, you are needed. You are needed to help preserve the peace. You are needed to serve in your United States Army, to ensure for your loved ones that it shall not happen here. You are urged to visit your local United States Army and United States Air Force recruiting station today and enlist in the United States Army. The need is urgent. Do it today. You are listening to Proudly We Hail, and now we present the second act of Routine Patrol. Three infantry soldiers started out on what should have been routine patrol to capture a prisoner, preferably a non-commissioned officer, one night in Korea. Getting into the enemy lines was easy. As a matter of fact, nothing seems to be stopping them as they steal further and further into enemy territory.
Where do you figure we are now, Sarge?
Well, it beats me. Must have come a good 10 miles.
Besides, it's going to get light in a couple of hours, and the honeymoon's going to be over.
Wait a minute. People up ahead. Take it very slow now. Oh, man, if it wasn't for this rain. I see somebody.
Yeah. 2 of them. Guys.
What's the matter?
Look. The one on the right, that's our helmet, our field jacket.
It can't be. It can't be.
They're just standing there talking. Hey, maybe we don't know it and the war's over. Uh-oh. Now what?
It's a car coming.
Hey, fellas. Do you see what I see?
It's a Chinese colonel getting out, and a United States officer is with him.
Man, oh, man, we're green. Hey, somebody kick me. Don't tell me, Paul. Enter. Speak English, always. Oh, yes. Hello, Colonel.
Better. You men in the school, you must speak English always. If someone talks to you in our language, you will not answer. You must live English language.
Get a load of this.
Hey, why don't we bag that colonel?
Yes, sir. That's our boy.
What's going on?
This must be a school where they train guys to impersonate Americans. Shake a few of those jokers back of our lines, and the fat could really be on a fire.
Oh, boy, what a setup. He's alone in that car with just one man.
All you men, you'll be especially alert. The general himself is in the area.
Did he say a general?
Let's see, I know what you're thinking. I know what I gotta prove.
Watch it. That colonel, he's looking this way.
He can't see us.
Who are those 3 men?
He can't, huh? He's got eyes like an eagle.
You men, stand where you are.
Uh-oh. Don't get nervous. Nobody can make out our faces in this rain and the dark.
He's getting mysterious. Hey, Sarge, let's blast our way out of here.
I want everybody to look at these 3 men. How perfect they are in every detail, posture, bearing, the way they hold their weapons. The man in the middle, notice his jaw. It is moving up and down. He has even adopted the barbaric habit of chewing gum. The 3 of you stay there. I want the general himself to inspect you. Joe, drive me over to the general's car.
Hey, why didn't you give us the high sign? We could have brought home a colonel.
I got my sights set on a general.
Crying out loud, Gillespie. All they wanted was a non-com.
All right. Let's bring in a general. He knows. I made to make a promotion.
Man, I've been on patrols in my time, but never nothing like this.
So this is where the commies train, huh?
Somebody's coming.
Uh-oh. Say, look who's sitting next to the driver.
Hey, Eddie, let's dress this up. Sing one of those Rebel Mountain songs.
What for?
Oh, I see what he means. Yeah, do as he tells you.
Birmingham jailhouse, Birmingham jail. I send all my letters to Birmingham jail.
Are you the three-man kind of told me about? Not bad. That's the song. You are overdoing it. It does not sound authentic to me. I doubt that Americans could sing that way. Stand at attention. No, something is wrong. I don't think you would fool the Americans. You still give me the impression that you are masquerading in Yankee suits. Let me analyze this. I think I know. Yes, you are just a little too perfect. Wolf, get out of the car and find Colonel Gayong for me. I want to explain this to him.
Fellas, it's now or it has to be never.
Silence! You will remain at attention and not talk amongst yourselves while you are being inspected.
General, will you all be kind enough to get into your car? I'll cut you in half with this Tommy gun.
What kind of insolence?
Do as he says, General.
I do not appreciate this joke. You will be court-martialed.
Rough flat.
Get him into his car, quick. If he ain't, cut him in.
I'll prop him up on the front seat next to you, Rough lad. Now just drive and go like the wind. Nobody's going to have the nerve to stop a general's car.
You will never take me back alive.
General, I get this gun in your back. You pop off just one time.
Yeah, it sounds like our 155 is still going strong.
Yeah, in a way, that's good. Most of these guys will be hugging the ground in their parks.
Watch yourself, kicking up about 100 yards ahead.
Stop the car. We'll have to take a chance if we can get through the barrage. Didn't go much farther this way anyhow. All right, now keep your Tommy gun nice and comfortable against the general's back, Eddie.
The line's around here somewhere.
Well, get off the road into the bushes. Lucky no one will hear us walking.
You will never bring me back alive.
Now, General, don't irritate me.
There's those same woods we came in through. Hey, wait a minute. Something looks different. There were some bushes.
Yeah, I think they cut them down and dug a foxhole to cover the approach.
You're right. Instead of a machine gun.
Yeah, that means we'll be spotted. Unless we can sneak up behind them and lob in a grenade.
I had a slug him. I could see he was opening his mouth to yell.
Good deal, Rockland. Okay, we'll have to crawl along the ground and drag him with us. Eddie, first off, now you creep up and handle the machine gunners. The artillery should cover the grenade.
Right, John.
If it works out, give us one of your bird calls.
You'll be hearing from me.
We'll work along the ground, Rockland. Now, you pull them by the hands, I'll pull them by the feet. That's it. All clear. Let's go. Careful through here. There's mines.
Our boy's becoming conscious.
What is the meaning? Where am I?
Oh, cheer up, General. Half hour, you'll be drinking fresh, hot American coffee.
Hey, fellas, I'm beat. Can't we just lay here and rest a minute?
Okay, sit down.
Well, here's our figure. We've got about 300 yards to our outpost. Hey, what's the funny? Listen, dimwit. That's your own machine gun. I heard you laughing.
You won't take me? Now I know you won't take me.
Listen to this guy. Combat fatigue.
Fellas, I think we'll have to slug him again and drag him with us.
Gentlemen, first, please accept my compliment. You are superb soldiers. Came our lines and captured me. General, that is worthy of my own troops.
None of this soft soap is going to get you anywhere.
But I cannot be taken. My family would be disgraced.
Oh, things are tough all over.
I will not reveal information. You realize that?
What do you think all this is going to get you?
May I have your pistol, Sergeant?
Oh, sure.
Leave one round in the chamber. I would do the same for a general in your army.
I'll bet you would.
Come on, crawl by yourself or we'll drag you.
I'm sorry. I cannot go with you. It would have been better had you lent me your pistol.
Hey, look.
The rain has washed away most of the ice here.
Look next to him.
Why, it's a mine.
Come, try to stop me. I will take you with me.
Daddy, grab him by the legs, quick! Get away from him, fellas. He's crazy. He's going to lay down on that mine. Stop him!
Yeah, how?
You say he was a general?
Yes, Captain. And would you believe it? We lost him at the last minute.
No, how can I believe that, Sergeant? How can I possibly believe such a fantastic story?
Well,
ridiculous.
Captain, Sergeant Gillespie, Corporal Rothblatt, and Private Manson are my three best men.
Yes, I know. Look, Sergeant, if only you told me you tried your best and you couldn't get a prisoner.
Well, sir, we did manage to get our hands on a letter. Yes, here it is, sir. As you see, it's just to a major, the town of Shanyin.
Yeah, let me have it. Might get some information. Hey, Rothblatt.
Sir?
You claim you can read this language. What does it say? Well, go ahead. What's the matter? Can't you read it?
Oh, yes, sir.
So?
It says, Yen Fu. Must be the major's name.
Funny way to start a communication.
You dog.
What's that, Rothblatt?
Oh, I'm just reading this, sir. You dog. I understand your orderly liberated a case of wine last week. Did you send me a couple of bottles? Since you... It's a little hard to make out here. Since you were promoted to major, you've become... I don't know what this next word means, sir. I think he means a real GI, I guess. Then he goes on and says, don't expect me to ask Naya, some gal, I guess, if she's got a friend next time we get to visit Shanyin. Your thirsty buddy, Chang.
I'm sure this will solve all of G2's problems. Now listen here. I want a prisoner. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Get out there and grab the first red you see. Understand?
Yes, sir.
This is just a routine patrol. Don't make a big thing out of it. Understand?
Yes, sir.
That's all.
All right. Let's go. Won't be nothing to this. Just routine.
Plan ahead to get ahead. There's sound advice for you young men of America. And here's how you can act on that advice. Your United States Army is offering a bright future in such interesting technical fields as radio, radar, electronics, mechanics, meteorology, photography, and many, many others. Perhaps you're not qualified in any of these urgently needed skills. Well, here's the answer to that. The United States Army, through its many fine technical schools, is prepared to train you in the field for which you show an aptitude. Now, there's a great opportunity. Your opportunity to plan ahead, to get ahead. For full details, visit your nearest United States Army and United States Air Force recruiting station now. This has been another program on Proudly We Hail, presented transcribed in cooperation with this station by the United States Army and the United States Air Force Recruiting Service. This is Kenneth Banghart speaking and inviting you to tune in this same station next week for another interesting story on Proudly We Hail.
Wine brings you Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce in the new adventures of Sherlock Holmes. The Petrie family, the family that took time to bring you good wine, invites you to listen to Dr. Watson tell us another exciting adventure he shared with his old friend, that brilliant detective, Sherlock Holmes. And say, while you lend an ear to the good doctor, you'll get a lot of pleasure out of a glass of rich, ruby-red Petrie California port. Just sit back and sip that Petrie port leisurely. There's a wine that's just perfect after dinner. A wine that really goes with storytelling and conversation. Petrie port is as rich in flavor as it is in color. And what a flavor. Full, hearty, and delicious. I can't think of a better way to express your hospitality than to offer your friends a glass of good Petrie port. Serve that Petrie port alone, or serve it with fruit or nuts, or with cake or sandwiches. No matter how you serve it, you can serve that Petrie port proudly, because the name Petrie is the proudest name in the history of American wine. Well, here we are once again, keeping our weekly date with Dr. Watson. Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening, Mr. Bartell. Come in and join me. As you see, the puppies have been keeping your chair warm for you. Here, shove them off.
No, Doctor, I don't want to disturb them. They look much too comfortable. I'll sit over here, thanks.
There's tobacco in the jar beside you, cigarettes in the box, and some excellent port on the sideboard, so make yourself at home.
Thanks, Doctor. Are you all ready with tonight's new Sherlock Holmes adventure?
Yes, Mr. Bartell, though I'm afraid after all these years, it's going to be a little hard for me to recapture for you the spirit of the story.
Last week you told us that a band of gypsies played a prominent part in the adventure.
Yes, they did indeed. And it was amid that colorful atmosphere that my story begins. It was in the autumn of 1890. My old friend Sherlock Holmes had persuaded me to leave the comforts of my domestic fireside for a few days and to accompany him to the tiny village of Bragston-on-the-Marsh, in the heart of the Norfolk Fen district.
What took Sherlock Holmes up there, Doctor?
I'm afraid that at the time we left London, Mr. Bartell, he concealed his true purpose from me, saying only that he wanted friendly companionship and a strong right arm. Not until later did I learn that he was then on the track of one of the last clues that led to the confining of the Moriarty gang. But to get on with my story. We arrived at Bragston-on-the-Marsh and settled ourselves in the village inn. And after an early dinner, we strolled across the fields to the gypsy fair that was encamped nearby. It was a colourful sight, Mr. Bartell. Naphtha flares lighted a group of tents, and caravans dotted round the edge of the marsh. And as gold-earring gypsy girls told fortunes and danced, swarthy gypsy men played on their violins the haunting melodies of their ancestors. We watched the side shows for a few moments and then strolled towards the centre of the gypsy encampment. It seems only like yesterday, Mr. Bartell, as Holmes turned to me and said...
Far cry from Baker Street, isn't it, Watson?
Yes, indeed. Just the same, Holmes, I'm convinced that you're not here purely for holiday. You're on the trail of some criminal.
No, chap, I'm on the trail of a clue. The clue, if I find it, may lead to the confounding of the Moriarty gang.
Holmes, can't you be a little more explicit? After all, I left my wife and my practice without asking any questions. Surely now we're up here, you could let me know what's afoot.
Very well, old fellow. I'm searching for a young gypsy by the name of Pyramus Hearn. He disappeared recently from London, and it's vital that I find him. I know that he can give me some essential information on our old enemy, Professor Moriarty.
And you're expecting to find the gypsy here?
I hope to get news of him, at least. His father, Jasper Hearn, is head of this particular encampment.
Well, why don't you ask if you can see him?
That's what I'm about to do, my dear fellow.
Well, here comes the gypsy. Now, I'll ask him.
All right. Oh, excuse me.
You speak to me, Gorcho?
Can you tell me where I may find Mr. Jasper Hearn?
What you want with Jasper Hearn?
I have a message for his son, Pyramus.
That is different. Jasper Hearn stands in the booth yonder. He is the Timberlangro.
Timberlangro?
He's a gentleman engaged in an interesting exhibition of skill involving 3 thimbles and a pea. What our American cousins refer to, I understand, as the old show game. Let's stroll over there, shall we, old fellow?
If you would wish to talk to Jasper, it would be better to wait until he is finished. A Timberlangro needs all his wits about him.
Now, Joe, look at that stunning girl in the tent over there. Who's she?
Her that is penning the rice tuckering. That is Lydia Pentalangro. Excuse me, I shall tell Jasper to expect you later.
I can't understand a word they say, Holmes. Penning the what?
At last, my dear fellow, you can appreciate how I have felt at times. But at least their words are clear, even if the sense is not, to someone who is unfamiliar with the Romany language.
I don't know why you keep hinting that I'm hard to understand. No one else ever complains of it. In any case, what does penning the thingamabob mean?
Well, if I remember rightly, penning duckerin is telling fortunes. And from the sound of things, Lydia Pentelengro is not greatly pleased with the duckerin she pens.
No more. Lydia can tell no more fortunes.
Come on, Watson. Let's see what the trouble is.
What do you mean? You must finish it.
But Olive, my dear, if the young lady doesn't want to tell my fortune...
Rubbish. You crossed her palm with silver. She's taking money under false pretenses.
Here, I'll give you your silver back. Lydia has never taken money under false pretenses, nor has she told the future when she does not wish to. Goodbye to you.
The insolence of these gypsies is intolerable. If I had my way, they'd be run out of the county.
Now, my dear, don't get so excited. The poor girl's probably...
Good evening. Major Treadgold, isn't it?
Huh? I don't think I have the pleasure of your... Oh, dear me. It's Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, sir.
Well, bless my soul. Haven't seen you since that last meeting of the Geographical Society. Oh, I'd like you to meet my wife.
How do you do, Mrs. Treadgold?
How do you do?
This is my friend, Dr. Watson.
How do you do? What brings you up to this part of England, Holmes? Are you hot on the trail of some desperate criminal?
Dear me, no. Dr. Watson and I are taking a little holiday, and you and your wife?
We live here in the manor house.
Well, you're very lucky. It's a beautiful part of the country, Mrs. Treadgold.
I hate it. I was brought up in London. I'm never really happy outside the city.
Yes, Oliver's not one for the peace of the countryside, I'm afraid. Well, perhaps we'll get back there. It's a little difficult these days, you know. We've got the boy to consider.
Boy? Your son, sir?
My dead brother's son, Doctor.
We have no children.
My little nephew's only 4 years old, you see, and I'm his guardian, as well as being executor of his estates up here. So you can understand it would be difficult for us to get back to London.
It's only difficult because you put the child's happiness before mine, Arthur.
Oh, now, Olive, you know I have to watch his interest up here. After all, when he comes of age, he'll be one of the richest young men in Norfolk.
Yes, and with money that should have come to us. In any case, Arthur, if we do have to live up here, I'd find it more tolerable if you'd keep this gypsy scum off the estate.
You seem to have taken a violent dislike to the gypsies, Mrs. Treadgold. May I ask why?
Oh, they persecute us. They steal our sheep, they break our windows, and just the other day they wantonly led our prize pig into the Bragstone quagmire and let the beast perish.
Why should they single you out for persecution like this, do you suppose?
Oh, I can't imagine. I've always tried to be nice to them.
Too nice, Arthur. That's your trouble.
Well, I have a very good reason for humoring them, my dear. You see, Holmes, I've always been afraid they may carry this feud so far that they'll even hurt the baby. Olive, my dear, I wonder if you'd go ahead and wait for me in the carriage. It's getting rather chilly. I'll join you in a moment.
Very well, Arthur, but don't keep me waiting long. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good night, Mr. Holmes.
Let's stroll away from the camp, shall we? I've got something very important to tell you. Something I didn't like to say in front of Olive. The gypsies have threatened to kidnap our boy.
How shocking.
What form did their threat take, sir?
This letter. I found it pinned on the frame of my dressing room mirror when I went up after dinner tonight.
Let me see it, will you, please?
Well, what does it say, Holmes?
A Romany Rye. A Romany Rye? Won't take your insults forever, Major and Mrs. High and Mighty. Watch out for the Treadgold heir. The Bragstone quagmire would make a nice finishing school for him.
Romany Rye? What's that mean?
Well, it's their own term, meaning gypsy. Mr. Holmes, what shall I do?
Major Treadgold,
Great heavens! That shot just missed me.
Where the blazes has come from? I can't see a soul.
They have come from behind any one of those caravans ahead of us.
If you wanted direct evidence, gentlemen, this is it. That is the first open attempt on my life. Holmes, what extraordinary luck for me that you're in the neighborhood. I'll pay you any fee you name to handle this business.
It seems to me that this is a job for the police.
I don't want to go to them.
Oh, why not, sir?
Well, I'm afraid that these attacks may stem from some injustice to the gypsies committed by my late brother. If that were so, I wouldn't wish to expose the fact. I want this kept private. What do you say, Mr. Holmes?
Very well, sir. I'll accept the case. It shall be kept private, and I promise to do everything in my power to protect the safety of the Treadgold heir. We are staying at the Rose and Crown in the village. Please get in touch with me if there should be any further developments.
The affair seems to be closed down for the night now, Holmes. They're turning out the naphtha flares.
Yes, let's stroll over to Jasper Hearn's caravan, shall we? He should be free now.
Well, if he's head of this tribe, he ought to be able to tell you something about this Treadgold business.
Yes. Though I shall first ask him about his son, Pyramus, the man I'm looking for. I think the fact that I know his son will inspire confidence. Here we are. This is the caravan.
That girl, Lydia Petrulenga, sitting outside. The one that was telling fortune.
Yes. Good evening.
Who are you? And what you want?
I wish to speak to Jasper Hearn.
He is not here. He's gone to the marshal.
When will he be back?
I do not know. You bring trouble to Jasper?
No, my dear. This is a personal visit.
We're not after him for being a thimble engro. Or for penning duckerin.
Oh, for a Gorgio, you speak a Romany well, brother. Oh, you are a true Lavengro, master of words. Where did you learn it?
From Jasper's son, Pyramus.
Oh, you know Pyramus then.
A fine boy.
Oh, sit down on the grass, my friend. You may wait here for Jasper. He will be back soon.
Thank you.
Is that your violin lying on the steps, young lady?
No, that is Jasper's Bolshom.
Jasper's Bolshom, what on earth, sir?
That is the Romany word for violin. You play, sir?
No, but my friend does.
So? Oh, then take it, brother. The stars are bright. The night is warm. Music will be sweet.
To a Romany chai, I'm afraid my violin playing will sound rather poor stuff.
Play on, brother. So, brother, you play well, but Sarasate Zigeunerweisen is not the true gypsy music. I've heard it in London and in Budapest. They call it gypsy. But what can a Gorgio know of the true heart of Romany? Wait here. I will get my own violin.
Charming girl, charming. But why do you keep on talking about Gorgios? Is that more of their confounded gibberish?
Gorgio, chap, is the term they use for anyone who is not a true gypsy.
Now I will play for you the real gypsy airs.
Thank you. I should appreciate it very much. But before you begin, I wonder if I might ask you a question.
A friend of Pyramus may ask me any question. What is it?
I observed you telling fortunes earlier on tonight. You refused to take a certain gentleman's hand and gave money back. Did you know who the gentleman was?
No, brother. Nor the noisy woman with him. I refused to pen the dockerin because I saw blood and violent death in his hand. Violent death it is soon to come.
Violent death? Good Lord.
Watson, fellow, I want you to do me a favor.
Yes, of course I will. What is it?
I must remain here until Jasper Hearn comes back. I should like you to return to the inn. It's more than possible that we may have news from our client before the night is out. I'll be back later.
Oh, well, it's nice of you to give me the best job. Good night, Miss Petrulenga.
Good night.
And now, please play for me a true Romany air.
Very well, my friend. Listen. Now you must play, brother. I shall make a true Bojanangro of you. Come, see if you can follow me.
You have taught him well. You have made a true Bushermangro of him.
He is an apt pupil, Jasper.
Well, with such a teacher, it's hard to be otherwise, Mr. Hearn. That is, if one has a spark of music in one's soul.
Call me Jasper, brother. You have spoken well, my son. You have taught wisely to me of things that I have not understood. Come, we shall drink wine together underneath the stars. I shall get glasses and a flight on.
Jasper has taken a great fancy to the brother.
And I to him. He's a fine man.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, Lydia?
May I read your hand, brother?
Why, yes, of course.
A strange hand, and a beautiful one. A long lifeline, and yet I see sudden death and violence surrounding you. Now, at this moment. And in the future, I see a journey for you, across the seas, within a year. Beware of water that runs in the mountains. Near death will befall you there. More travels, more dangers. Oh, you must be careful, brother. Oh.
What is it?
Our paths are destined to cross, at once. We shall not meet after this night. That makes me sad.
Oh, but we shall meet again. I shall be here for some days yet.
No, it says in your hand that we shall not meet again. And a hand cannot lie. Who is this that comes toward us through the moonlight?
It's my friend, Dr. Watson, I think. Yes. Hello, Watson. What's wrong?
Wrong. Everything's wrong. Mrs. Treadgold's waiting in the carriage. She wants you to come at once.
Indeed? Why?
The child has been kidnapped. Major Treadgold has gone for the police, and Mrs. Treadgold is threatening to rouse the local inhabitants and come out here and burn this camp to the ground if you don't find the
You
child.
can tell Mrs. Treadgold to return home. She can do no good here.
But Holmes...
Tell the old chap that I have the case well in hand.
But how can you have? You've been out here all the time playing your violin.
Have faith in me, please, old fellow, will you? And deliver the message. Then come back here and join me, and I'll explain everything to you.
Very well. I suppose you know what you're up to.
Violence and trouble, brother. It is all there in your hand.
Well, what must be shall be, and I wouldn't have it otherwise. But for the moment, the sky is starlit, the air is still, and the melody you played haunts me. Let's play it together again, shall we?
I should like that. I should like that very much.
Dr. Watson will continue his story in just a few seconds, during which time I'd like to talk specifically to the ladies, if I may, and tell you about Petri California Muscatel. Just as Petri California Port has long been known as the wine of gentlemen, Petri Muscatel has been known as the favorite of the ladies. That's because Petri Muscatel is a golden-colored wine that looks like captured sunshine and tastes as... Well, did you ever take big, plump muscat grapes picked when they're still misty and dew-covered? If you have, you know what to expect when you taste Petri Muscatel. The flavor of Petri Muscatel comes right from the very heart of luscious, hand-picked muscat grapes. You couldn't ask for a more delicious wine than Muscatel. Petri Muscatel. Well, Dr. Watson, I must say this is a strange story you're telling us. You mean to say that the heir to the Treadgold estates had been kidnapped, and yet Sherlock Holmes paid no attention?
Yes, that's what it seemed like, Mr. Bartell. I couldn't understand him. I've never known him to be so indifferent to a case. There he sat until the early hours of the morning as he and that girl scraped away at their violins and never said a word about the kidnapped baby. Finally, as we walked home across the fields a few hours before dawn, his mind seemed to return to the matter at hand. He spoke quietly, and yet there was a note of suppressed excitement in his voice.
What's the matter, fellow? You're angry with me, aren't you?
No, Holmes, I must say, but I'm confused. That girl seems to bewitch you. Have you forgotten that you accepted the job of guarding the Treadgold heir, and that the child was kidnapped tonight?
No, I'm fully aware of the fact.
Holmes, heaven's sake, stop being so infernally matter-of-fact. What's come over?
Oh, possibly it's the mood of this mild autumn night. It is indeed a St. Martin's summer. So much so that I've left my coat and deerstalker cap behind me at the encampment. Let's go back, shall we? And incidentally, when we get there, I can set your mind at rest by showing you the kidnapped child.
You mean you know where it is?
Certainly. It's, in the camp.
Then the gypsies did steal it.
No, my dear fellow. I did.
What? This is one of those occasions when you absolutely infuriate me, Holmes. If you must keep me up half the night while you have a fitting concert with a gypsy girl, at least of all you can do is tell me what's going on. You stole the child yourself. In heaven's name, why?
Because the threatening note to Major Treadgold was so obviously a fraud.
Oh, why do you say that?
You will remember that the letter began, "A Romany Rye will not take your insults forever." Now, a Romany Rye, despite what Major Treadgold said, does not mean a gypsy, but a man who knows about gypsy law. It is a term no true gypsy would apply to himself. He would use the expression Romany child. So it was obvious from the beginning that no gypsy threatened the child. Now, who else had a motive for harming it?
Well, Major Treadgold, because he stood to inherit the estate.
Yes, or his wife. It's quite obvious. She has no liking for our present life, and the child is an obstacle to a new one. With the child kidnapped and later made away with, obviously they both stood to gain a great many of the things they wanted.
Yes, Joe, you're right. And whoever the culprit is took the precaution of pinning the blame in advance on the unfortunate gypsies by writing the false kidnapping note. Wait a minute, but how about the shot that was fired at us tonight as we walked with Major Treadgold?
Probably fired by an accomplice to the plot, in order to give authenticity safety to the supposed danger.
And the child is now in the gypsy encampment.
Yes, I promised that I would protect the Treadgold heir, and so I arranged with Jasper Hearn to have the boy kidnapped for his own safety.
But if anyone should find the child, they'll say the gypsies deliberately stole him.
Oh, I'm quite certain that before that occasion arises, old chap, the criminal will have shown his or her hand. Come on, old fella. Put your best foot forward. It's a long way back to the camp yet, and it's nearly dawn.
Come back, brother. You wish to spend the remainder of the night in the encampment?
No, thank you, Jasper. I just came back to my cap and coat. It was so warm tonight, and I forgot about them, and I started to walk home without them.
I will find them for you. Oh, we found this message for you soon after you had left. It was pinned to the door of the caravan. I do not know how it got there. I will search for your coat and hat.
Another message? What does it say, Holmes?
Never trust a Romany rye. Uh-huh. The same mistake again, Watson. Your plans have been betrayed. For proof, meet me at the Bragstone quagmire at dawn.
It's a trap, Holmes.
Obviously. We must spring it with caution.
I cannot find your coat or your cap, brother. It has vanished.
Vanished? May I speak to Lydia?
That is a strange thing, too. Lydia has gone also.
She's gone. Tell me, Jasper, did she read this note?
Yes, she did. She could not help reading it.
Then she, too, realized it was a trap. She went out in my coat and deer-stalking hat to keep the appointment for me.
Holmes, who's come up?
Jasper, call out the Romany Childs. There's a devil waiting to be caught in the Bragstone quagmire.
How much further to the quagmire, Jasper?
200 yards. No more.
There's Lydia. There she is. And she's dressed in my deer-stalking hat and coat, walking into the trap that was set for me. Lydia! Lydia!
They got her. Look. She stumbled. She's fallen.
I'll go to her, Watson. Jasper, get that devil who staged this fiendish plot. I've a score to settle with him. Do not worry, brother. The score will be settled. Follow me, Doctor.
Right, Joe. I'm right behind you.
Lydia.
Sherlock Holmes, I was wrong. We do meet again. Your hand lied to me.
Oh, Lydia. You're wounded. What can I do for you?
There is nothing you can do, brother. No one can help me now. There is little pain. There is little time. Please, hold my hand.
There. Tell me, Lydia, did you see who fired the shot?
Yes. It was the man whose fortune I told today. The man with the noisy wife.
Major Treadgold.
Jasper and the men will take care of him. There is one thing I wish to tell you, brother.
Yes?
Our short meeting has brought me happiness. I should like to think I can leave you something so that you will not forget me.
I shall always remember you, Lydia. Always. You gave your life for mine.
There is one thing of mine that I wish you to have. It will remind you of me.
What is it?
My violin. It brought us together. I should like you to have it, brother.
Lydia.
Do not be sad. It is good. My life for yours. You will give help to many people. It is in your hand. Goodbye. Oshemango.
Holmes, it was dreadful. Dreadful. The gypsies surrounded Major Treadgold. They forced him back into the Bragstone quagmire. I tried to pull him out, but I couldn't do it single-handed.
I'm not sorry, Watson. Jasper, you know that Lydia is dead?
Yes, I know it. The gypsies knew it, too. That is why you were single-handed, Doctor, in your attempts to save the murderer. No Romany child would raise a finger to help him.
Yes, I can understand that, but great Scott, man, if you'd seen his face as the quaking mud sucked him under.
Lydia's death was less dramatic, but equally moving, I assure you.
Sherlock Holmes, I met you less than 5 hours ago. You have saved my tribe from a devilish plot that would have blackened their names. A plot that would have driven them from the countryside. What can I do in return?
2 things. First, tell me where I may reach your son, Pyramus.
His address is in this sealed envelope, brother.
Thank you.
What else may I do for you?
As Lydia died, she willed me one gift.
for remembrance.
And what was that gift, Barker?
A violin.
Of course. Here. Here it is.
Huh. She told me I might become a true Boshamengro. Let's see if I can recapture the melody once more.
That was a very strange story. A very fascinating one. But tell me, do you really believe that gypsies can tell your fortune by reading the palm of your hand?
Oh, frankly, I don't know, Mr. Bartell. Perhaps they can. Perhaps it's coincidence. And then again, maybe some gypsy women have a heightened sense of intuition. You know, a woman's intuition can be an extraordinary thing.
Yeah, so my wife keeps telling me. Of course, I have a kind of intuition myself.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Every time I see a bottle of wine with the name Petri on the label, my intuition tells me I'm going to like it. And I always do, too.
Mr. Bartell, if ever I saw a man with a one-track mind, you're that man.
Thank you, Doctor. As long as my one-track is Petri, I can't miss. Because nobody can miss with Petri wine. What other wine has such tradition, such a story behind it? Petri wine is made by a family, the Petri family. They've owned and operated their own business ever since its inception, back in the 1800s. The Petri family has been making good wine for generations, and they've been handing on down in the family, from father to son, the fine art of turning luscious, sun-ripened grapes into fragrant, delicious wine. And that sure adds up to a lot of experience. You can just bet your last dollar that no matter what kind of wine you want, when you ask for a Petri wine, you're asking for good wine, because Petri took time to bring you good wine. Well, Dr. Watson, what story are you planning to tell us next week?
Next week, Mr. Bartell, I'm going to tell you of a strange adventure that Sherlock Holmes and I had in the East End of London. It concerns 5 nephews, an eccentric will, and a dead man's watch that gave us the clue to murder.
Tonight's Sherlock Holmes adventure was written by Dennis Green and Anthony Boucher and was suggested by an incident in the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle story, The Adventure of the Red Circle. Music is by Dean Fossler. Mr. Rathbone appears through the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, and Mr. Bruce through the courtesy of Universal Pictures. They are now starring in the Sherlock Holmes series. The Petri Wine Company of San Francisco, California, invites you to tune in again next week, same time, same station. Sherlock Holmes comes to you from our Hollywood studio. This is Harry Bartell saying good night for the Petri family. For a solid hour of exciting mystery dramas, listen every Monday on most of these same stations at 8 o'clock to Michael Shayne, followed immediately by Sherlock Holmes. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.